Okay, finally got it working. Thank you for the heads up there, Sandman. I completely forgot to set up the YouTube Go Live segment. And then when I tried to start it outside, post clicking start streaming on OBS, it just wouldn't have it. Apologies, I don't know what I was doing there. I completely forgot about it. Anyway, are we all well? Are we having a good Monday so far? Deacon, thank you so much for the 2 3-month gift subs to Ferk and John Kozlov. Enjoy, my friends. Beers and party, please. Let's get that in chat. There we go. JJ Shield, T-Jack, Tarketa, Sandman, of course. 07 over on YouTube. Take a bit of time for that to populate. Akram, welcome. Let's say hello to everybody on Twitch. In fact, let's get started because we've wasted enough time. What do I? 17 minutes past 2. Lucas, thank you so much for the 29-month resub. Beers and party again, please. Anyway, let me see who's here. So we've got Deacon, Solomon, Balth, Jones, Blamsmith, John Kozlov, Apocalypse, Sandman, Skipper, Victura, Moose Run, Jones. I've said Jones. GN Ralph. Oh, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons now. Making a right foobar of this. Castellian, Lady Space Patrol, Lava Doc, Rhino, Tarketa over there as well, Quantum Kit, Shenanigans, Damage. Let me have some coffee while we're doing this. Lucas, Ferk, Special Circs, and I think that is it. OM, thank you so much for the Prime sub, my friend. More beers and party, please. That's kicking off the hype train as well. Between you all. Hang on a minute. How many is this? That's the right amount there. Miguel, Volta, Solomon over here as well. Jason Snow, William, PXK 07, everybody. Welcome. Apologies for the dodgy start there. It was a complete foobar of a start. Ice, welcome, Gadesa. Oh, it's a bit chilly as well. My hands aren't quite warm enough. You're getting in a sneaky watch while you should be doing your new job. Oh boy, don't get fired on the first day. What is it you're doing now? How's the new job? Oh, cold. Stikesy, thank you for completing the hype train level 1 with a Prime sub. Beers and party, please. Let's get them in chat. Boogie, welcome, sir, and thank you so much again yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before, for the 100 sub gifts. That is insane. Excalibur, welcome. Better to F around before than during the... Yeah, absolutely. Get it sorted now. Wonko, 07. No, absolutely. Motherfig, 07. Head of publishing for a game. That's right. Job is great. Don't worry. It's fully remote. Nice. Congratulations again, Special Circs. It is cool to hear that, mate. I hear that all the time, T-Jack. Everyone thought I'd be old and bald. I don't know how people can hear hair, but... Well, clearly they can't. Elizabeth Noble, 07, welcome. William Glasser, can't wait for ship build. Yeah, there's... So today, once I suddenly come around and figure out what day it is, I have just written out the video coverage, oh my lord, of the base building Star Citizen Live. Moose Run, thank you so much, my friend, for the 5 gift subs. Beers, party bus. You know what to do. And if you have received a gift sub, please do drop on 07 and thank the gifter, because it does help the channel out massively. So thank you so much for the support. Good morning, Ice Viper. How is the pond? The huge pond. The chill is just immersion for flying over Microtech. Yeah, absolutely. I need to get one of those duffel coat things that they have. You expected older. Yeah. You're not the only one, Jack. I think because you do sound a little more like Obsidian. Is he bald but handsome? He is bald but handsome, nevertheless. Yeah, I suppose we have a similar voice. Absolutely. It's been a while since I've watched any of his videos. Him and, Level Cap and other people that are a bit bigger that do cover Star Citizen occasionally, I will watch some of their videos, but I just haven't had time. I haven't had time. Been too busy doing my own stuff. We've got the party started, Moose Run. Thank you so much, my friend. Ooh. Yeah, he does a lot of Elite, doesn't he? William, thank you so much for becoming a channel member over on YouTube. Let's get some beers and party over there. We've got to do this manually, because I haven't quite figured out. I don't even know which one's beers and party. Someone tells me which one's which, but I completely have no idea. Thank you, my friend. And Lavadoc for continuing your sub over on Twitch. Beers and Paddy, thank you so much. We're getting some buffering going on. I blame you lot. There we go. Yeah. So how many people who is playing 4.0 right now are having elevator issues, and where are the issues happening? As I said in the video, I was having a great time on this most recent build. The previous build was a nightmare. I just logged in. I mean, the problem was I spawned in at Checkmate. Checkmate seems to be notoriously difficult for elevators. For whatever reason. It can happen in other places, but Checkmate is always the core, like the epicenter of that issue. And I jumped in. I had like an hour to play, or even less maybe, and I jumped in, and I went to the elevator, and I couldn't get in, and I thought, you know what? I'll take it as a sign. I'm going to go do something else. So I buggered off and played, I think, Gran Turismo. And then I jumped in on this latest build and captured all that stuff that I was seeing in my most recent video. I was so excited with that build. It was so nice, and I had no issues at Obituary with the elevators, the hangars, or anything. But then I read the comments, because I do ask in my videos for people to put their experience in the comments so we can all see what's happening, be that good, be that bad. CIG can see it if they so want to see that information, if that's a source of information for them. Not likely, but potentially. But also it gives us more of a median understanding of how the patch is. And I've seen a lot of people saying it's still a big problem and more. John Kozlov with the cheer. Deacon with another gift sub. Exclamation beers and cheers. Thank you so much, guys. 127 gift subs, Deacon. That is insane. Thank you. And Boogie, I can't see it right now, but Boogie is catching up with Cogs. Cogs had 768 subs in this channel, and Boogie, you are 622. You are close behind him, mate. Sounds closer to Argo Squall. I don't know who... That sounds like a Star Wars name. Naughty Bear, how you doing? 4 years ago, I looked excited for this game and now put 4,000 in it. Today, I feel like it's not worth my time. I would say right now... thank you, John, for the cheer there again, mate. It's one of those things where you invest into it, and if it isn't playing any good at this time, you keep taking a break, Bear, and then come back again and try it again and see if it's any better the next time. Right now, they're literally implementing the remaining core tech to make the game even possible. So it's going to have a lot of ups and downs at this point. And just keep taking a break, come back again. That money will pay for itself no end. It really will. It's, from what I'm playing when it works of 4.0, it is just phenomenal. And provided they can get it stable and whatnot, which I'm sure they will, however long that takes, it'll come back again. But yeah, if you're on a break, keep taking a break. Wait until maybe 4.0 comes out and then see what it's like. What is going on out there, guys? Oh my good God, I'm not even paying attention to what's happening. John with the 1,000 cheer. We have Balthier with the 5 gift subs. City Gamer with another cheer. Beers Party cheer. I can't even keep up, guys. Not that I'm complaining, mind, but blimey. Thank you so much, Bal. Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, City Gamer. Welcome, by the way. and another 1,000. Holy moly. Hang on. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to have to skip a few questions here. I don't think... if you've said anything or you've just arrived, do say hello again. Lord Deliverance, Figment, Bal for the cheer. Thank you, my friend. JKT, welcome. Oh, my good God. Biomechanical, welcome. How are you doing today? Real Exodus, welcome. I can retire now. Yeah. So, Salty Mike suggested, what was that? Hang on, I'll put a thing over your name there. Salty Mike suggested in his recent rewatch of the Star Citizen Live that he thinks CIG will announce Pyro to live on the next Int. I think it's, at this time, I don't think they're quite ready to know exactly, but I think Salty is right. I personally feel the same way. I think within the next week, we'll see either an open or a live. Right, we're in Wave 2. Wave 2 to live can generally take very little time because the increase in player count isn't as impactful because the main issues have been highlighted already in the lower level, the lesser player count numbers, waves. They are pushing, without a doubt, to try and get it out by the end of the year. There is no doubts in my mind that they are, for use of a better word that everybody hates, they're crunching to get 4.0 out by the end of the year. I 100% believe that is the case. But of course, things can still happen. As it's going right now, with this new mesh configuration, what I was playing, there's still issues, but those issues can be rectified. I think we are certainly looking at a potential live release within the next couple of weeks. Ideally, they'd get it out sooner so that they can push out to those bigger numbers, highlight the problems, and then tackle those problems while they're still there, rather than wait till the 20th and be like, here it is live, and then be like, oh crap, everything's broken. So they're going to push it out to either open PTU or live and wait and see what happens and then fix before they go on their break. There will still be people to help fix things while they're off. They do still have people in there. I know, Deacon. 5090 on the way. Moose Run, thank you so much for the 5 more gift subs. Ruski, thank you so much for the 10-month resub. And Gonji, thank you for the 11-month resub. I can't even keep up with what is going on today. How are you all doing? Lord Sabbath, welcome. So yes, as I said in my video, I feel like they are on the cusp of dropping it to live, and they'll want to do it as soon as possible so that they have time to see any other issues that highlight themselves. Now, the elevator stuff, yes, it's a pain in the ass, but I don't think a lot of that is going to be rectified until the transit system refactor is done, which is going to be a post 4.0 thing. So hopefully we're not dealing with it for too long, and I suggest don't spawn at Checkmate. Spawn anywhere else. We might be better off. But it is still potential that it'll come live next year, and we'll get open PTU by the end of the year. It could remain in Wave 2 by the end of the year. It's unlikely. I think it's more likely to be open. I think it's even more likely to be live. But at this time, they probably have that in their mind that next week we're going to go live. The patch report stuff is what they always do, regardless of whether it goes live or not. Like the Inside Star Citizen is stuff they do all the time whenever a patch is on the cusp, regardless of whether it remains in the PTU or goes live. So it's not necessarily an indicator of it coming live. But everything else that they have been doing, all the work they've been doing, all the constant builds, and the pushing that they're doing, that is definitely indicative of they're aiming for live as soon as possible. And I hope they can bring it to live earlier than later, even if it's in a bit of a bad state, because then they'll have time to rectify any new issues that arise from it going live, because that's when everybody plays, right? PTU is limited anyway because people don't want to play it. When it goes live, everybody jumps in, and that's where the main problems not the main problems, but that's where a lot of problems can occur. Oh my god. Lagerman, how are you doing? Thank you for the cheer, welcome. Ruski, thank you for the extra cheers. John Kozlov, thank you for the celebration cheer. What was that? Gonji with the tier 2, 6 months in advance sub. It wasn't just a 11-month resub, Gonji. I do apologize, mate. It was a tier 2, 6 months in advance. What is going on today, guys? Thank you so much. Thank you. Hype train is at level 7. Oh, level 6 is achieved. Flippin' heck. We're hyped. I'm very... This is the first time in a long time playing 4.0 that I have felt that... It sounds stupid, but that nostalgic Star Citizen feeling. Like, I'm literally having nostalgic Star Citizen feelings because it's been in development for 12 years. Well, not in development, you know what I mean? That sense of awe and excitement of not knowing what's coming. You know what I mean? Like, tasting that new stuff. I hope they just put it to open PTU and don't break the life. Yeah, ideally, it would work great and it wouldn't break. But, you know, sometimes they've just got to rip the Band-Aid off to reveal the issues to allow them enough time to get it into a good playable state. Live may be a mess. And please, please give a little more leeway for these detrimental patches. 318, you know, the persistence, the freight elevators. These are patches that, without this tech, the game won't exist. The game can exist. So it needs to go through this process. It needs to highlight the issues so that they can fix them. I implore to give more leeway, if it's possible, more patience, just to let them get through this stuff so that we can get to where we want to all be, right? Let's not hold them up with complaints. Solomon, thank you for the 200 cheer. Tamburello, thank you for gifting Blandsmith a sub. Beers and party, please. That's fine, Gary. If you feel that way, you don't have to. I'm not telling you to. I'm asking. If you don't want to, that is your choice. I'm just giving my opinion, my approach. Hype Train level 11, was it? I do not even remember getting that. I didn't know that existed. Ryvik, how you doing? DJT Films 07. Beagle Boss, welcome. The poor 318 made me and my friends leave for 12 months, but we are back and living the game. That's great to hear. Yeah, that was one of the most impactful and problematic patches, for sure. Have I missed anyone sneaking in on all this craziness? Donkey, how you doing? Yeah, hopefully we don't see a 318 level break. So far we haven't. But 4.0, from what I am playing, even just traveling around and exploring, is just phenomenal. It is so exciting. The quality of this location is cool. You're actually very excited about the direction of the game after CitizenCon. Yeah, there's so... And again, we're going to be talking about base building today. There's a lot of that. Not coming now, but a lot of exciting things on the way. You never wanted to wipe this much. Cognitive, how you doing? All is good on your end. I understand the complexities of software development. Yeah, absolutely. You know. But again, you know, people can feel how they want to feel. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm asking, just if you can, give a little bit more leeway, because this is the precipice for a new era of Star Citizen, and hopefully one where we're not dealing with all of those issues that we've dealt with prior to 4.0. Yes, it'll take a bit of time after it comes out to just optimize and tweak any other issues, but it's going to get there. Marco, how you doing? 07, welcome. If you think it's easy, why don't you volunteer? Yeah, exactly. Again, people can feel the way they want to feel about it, right? Richard Tyra said this next EPTU patch that backpacks are getting bigger inventories. Very nice. Are we getting like clothes? Did he mention anything about clothing backpacks? Randy Wookie, how you doing? Welcome. Jackal, welcome. That's why I think they will drop 4.0 before Christmas, as it is already far better than 3.18. Yeah, they did say most of the issues, or most of the legwork has been done with those previous patches, but that's not to say this isn't going to bring its own problems, right? What do you think of the server config? If I understand EPTU currently, it's 8.4. No, so it's technically 8. Yeah, it's 4 servers in Pyro, 4 servers in Stanton, with 500 players on the mesh, and almost so a lot. Oh, look at that hype chest. Let's open it. And a lot of the thank you guys so much for Hype Train level 7. Whew, 24 subs. 3,295 bits. You guys are legendary. Jedi, welcome. So essentially, we have that. There's 4 planets, 12 moons in Stanton, 6 planets, 6 moons in Pyro. The moons of Stanton don't need to have their own, server. They're all entirely sort of engrossed under the umbrella of the other servers. But let me just pull up the mesh config now and what is handling what. Deacon, thank you again for another gift sub there, my friend. You've started the whole thing and it's just gone crazy. Right. What's happened to the music? Let's skip that one. For some reason, it doesn't want to play on. So the current mesh config, which seems to be holding out very well, is on the Stanton side. So 4 servers in Stanton. The server A is Hurston and ArtCorp, and likely all of their moons. Server B is just Microtech. Server C is just Crusader. And server D is, it says, space and jump points. So it's likely the space around the jump points, I would think. And then for the Pyro side, we have Pyro 1, Monox, and Checkmate in server A. Server B holds Pyro 5, Terminus, and Ruin Station. Terminus being another space station. Server C being Pyro 4, Bloom, and Obituary, and then server D being the jump point and space around it. And so far, it seems to be holding up pretty well, which is quite interesting because this isn't the final configuration. This is just their current configuration that seems to be working very well with what we have now. And as they scale, they will keep doing that. Then we'll see dynamic come along. So we won't even see degraded servers when dynamic server meshing is completed, because when a server gets to a certain level, it'll just be switched down. Batgirl, how you doing? Nice to see you again. Are you well? Are you excited for 4.0? From what I understand, I would limit it to 400 on the mesh and shuttle the empty server prospering power to the fullest server. I don't know how it works, William, to be honest, but they'll have all the data, the visuals of what's going on where, and so yeah, so far seems to be working. Touchwood. Quatatron, I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you? Sagan, welcome. You should really make a video where you look back at this year and how much more speed the development has picked up. The problem is I have no time. I have so much to try and keep up with that some of these more long-winded... Oh, thank you, APOC, for posting that, mate. A lot of these more detailed depth videos can take a lot of time to put together when I'm trying to keep up with everything else. I eventually may do a how's it gone since I backed, kind of up and down. I don't know, but yeah, at the time I don't have the time to really put into that. But it's a cool idea. I'm sure someone will anyway. But yeah, progress, regardless of I think the problem, people are like, if I see it in the verse, I'll believe it. Nothing else is progressing outside of what I see in the alpha, which is just not the truth. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it probably wouldn't get taken very, very nicely. Oddball, welcome. You played a bit of Pyro for the first time yesterday and was impressed by the stability. Yeah, it's coming along, but people are still having issues, clearly. People are still having problems with certain aspects. Is there a lot of desync, Blam? Okay. Do you think server meshing leads to Maelstrom and perhaps proper salvage? Essentially, it could. I think server meshing can alleviate a lot of the pressure on the server, where I don't know if they have someone else might be able to answer this better, but I don't know if they have a server handling the physics side of things. I believe they do. Rather than it being on the same server as everything else and it eating away at that server frame rate and stability. So it might be that server meshing is needed so that they can isolate the physical side of things into its own service, like we're seeing with AI or whatever it was recently. Maybe the missions. And that will then be able to be ready for the Maelstrom to come online, the Maelstrom system to come online, which would then also lead to more in-depth salvage. Not to mention they are breaking down the CMC, aren't they, to really expose different commodities in that. What are your thoughts on the Starlancer? Yeah, same. So I'm not a massive fan. We're mostly chatting today, Jason, about base building. We may jump in and play, but mostly chatting, mate. I actually picked up the Star Lancer Max because of how much I love the interior and its use cases, but essentially, I'm not a fan of MISC, which is strange. Same viewpoint, Miguel. Oh, sorry, Batgirl, I missed that. Where is it? Hang on. Venq, welcome. I missed you as well. Are building games that Chris would join in on, Satisfactory, Wellheim, etc. Wondering how much that has to do with where base building is going now. I don't know. I think a lot of it could be Star Wars Galaxy influence. A lot of people have been craving that kind of stuff. Caleb, welcome. So that's certainly... I think it's multiple things. Satisfactory. What I just said. I can't remember what it was. Star Wars Galaxies, Elite, maybe. No Man's Sky. It's essentially all these things. They want it for their... Chris wants it for his game. They're going to do it their way. Regardless of, you know, what influence or inspiration came from elsewhere. It is definitely something that he wants. Once base building and crafting are fully in, Star Citizen will finally become your daily driver game. Been playing since the hangar module, and this entire time I felt like a tourist. Good to know the direction. Yeah, CitizenCon did give a lot more insight into the direction of where they're going to get to for 1.0 and then what's coming beyond that, which is, I suppose, everything else. But yeah, it's nice to get that insight and know where we're heading. You love your Star Lancer Max. You're smashing the bounty missions one after another. It's a daily flyer with your medical Ursa. Very nice. Bickraven, Pathas, how you doing? Any insight on how building drones will work? There was a question that seemed to say you could leave the drones to do the work and they would despawn later. Does that mean I now have no drones? So what they said was you can set your drone building. You can go away, even take the mothership that drone belongs to. And then when the drone is done, if it can't find the mothership to get back to in its local proximity, whatever that range will be, it'll destroy itself. And then you can go and take your mothership, that ship, back to a location and get it repaired, at which point you'll get a drone back. Now, for the video that I'm working on covering that Q&A, I actually don't like that process. I feel like it just destroying itself is a bit silly and a bit wasteful. But I feel like it's probably more to do with a tech limitation rather than the gameplay intentions. Let me just say what I think is better. I just need to find it so that I'm not going off on a tangent. So I would prefer it to instead just sit and wait for the mothership to return, because you'll inevitably be coming back at some point, right? So it just sits there, waits, leaving it somewhat vulnerable to be stolen if anyone can get on your land without being shot for trespassing. And then that could be sold on or you know, secondhand or dismantled or used by someone else. I also don't like the idea of it, you know, you repairing to get your drone back. I think that would be better if it was more of a, you know, Fury, Fashion, welcome, Summer Yeti. I think it would be better if you could just go and buy a drone, or maybe a different drone, or a more efficient drone. I think that would be a much better idea if they had that kind of range of drone values. But I have a feeling, like I say, it's less about game design and more of a tech issue regarding the authority of the drone, and you know, who can own this drone when it's tied to that ship. But yeah, I was a bit like, nah, I prefer it in a different way. Oxenia, welcome. I think it would be advantageous for every server to handle destruction and defamation versus one server. Spread it out below the multiple server versus one. Yeah, again, I don't know what they're going to do, but they will find the most efficient way and the most effective way of doing it, whether that's each server doing its own thing, a separate service handling that, and then replicating it. It's hard to say. Gigabase whistling. Thank you, Jason. Oberon, how you doing? I didn't know about that drone destroying itself. I don't like it either. It should be able to be continuously used and... Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. And I hope they revisit that if it's possible, if it's not a tech limitation. I suspect we will get a notification in the Moby that your building is complete and then you have a few days... Yeah, that would be a good idea. You have a few days to go and pick your drone up before it self-destructs. If that is necessary. Again, I just think just let it sit down and wait for you to come back. It'll age, it'll degrade, it could be stolen, it could be, you know, destroyed in bad weather or by a creature or something. If that's the case, go and buy a new one. But I'd love to be able to go and buy a second-hand drone or a new drone with varying attributes and, you know, differences. Bright Valley, how you doing? Rickan, welcome. What I think with the drones would be nice, what would be nice is if you could build drone hubs on your land. Yes! Yeah, like a dock, a drone dock, where it can, when it's done with, it can go and land. I mean, essentially, we may even have buildings that can build. No, that doesn't make sense. But no, I like that idea. That's a good idea. It could be that spacey. Yeah, you could be onto something there. It could be a entity, you know, cleanup. It could be to do with the authority as well, that it can't be away for too long without it needing to come back. It could just be a tech limitation, but we'll see. Do I have any info on the Fortune? No, unfortunately, I haven't heard anything more beyond it being a multi-crew potentially salvager. I think that was even just a leak, wasn't it? I don't even think it's been confirmed yet. Or am I wrong? But yeah, I have no new news, I'm afraid, about that. Wild, how you doing? Altgard, welcome, first time chatter and first time seeing your face. There is not a single... There is. There is a lot of grey hair now. You know, I'm a father to a 2.5-year-old, so there's a lot of grey hair. Even in the chest. I have grey chest hairs, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm speckling. Speckling like a badger. Not as vicious, though. And I don't have TB, so, you know. Well, I don't think so, anyway. Yes, the Carrack will get its drones. Every ship that needs its drones will eventually get its drones, for whatever reason. Roomba docking station. We actually bought a Yuffie. We were looking at Roomba and looking at Yuffie, and Yuffie came up tops for us, so we were like, let's get that. And man, it scares the sugar out of Summer. She's like, it's coming, run away! Fortune's been confirmed at the IAE. I mean, yeah, I know it's coming. I just mean, I don't think CIG have explicitly said it's a salvaging ship. I think it is I think it's likely going to be, based on the leaks and stuff, but I know the Fortune's coming. I've seen the silhouette. I know it looks like the Prospector, but on a bigger scale. And it looks like, and it sounds like it's going to be a salvaging ship, but I don't think CIG have officially said the Fortune is a salvaging ship. Have they? GQ, unfortunately, absolutely welcome. Janitor NPC, yeah, we definitely need those. And I want to buy one of these. That's good timing. Marcon, thank you so much for the 14-month resub. Bears and party, please. Badwolf, welcome. A building that can do the construction was shown at Citizen... Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Okay, yeah. Man, I need to rewatch that. I'm already forgetting things. Yeah, that big tower where you can sit and observe and organize. Every time your wife starts playing with my hair, she's like, you've got X new white hairs, by the way. When I used to go to my previous barber, he would be like, oh, you're getting grayer. I'd be like, cut my hair. What am I paying you for? Not these comments, thank you very much. E-Hawk, no, think they only mentioned it by name. Yeah. Info runners looked at the images and they were pretty sure it's a bot. It could be, but the images we've seen are silhouettes. So keep that in mind. But it certainly looks and sounds like it is most plausibly going to be a salvaging ship. But until CIG confirm or deny, we've just got to keep that in mind. It could be a combination. I don't think they would do that, though. I think they would want to keep it separate. The silverback. No, so I don't have grey... Oh, I don't think I've got grey back hairs. Yeah, the nose hairs are a pain in the ass. Man, if you ever see me doing this, it's because they're tickling. I need to trim them more often. Walker Bait, thank you so much for the... What do they call that? Super chat, isn't it? Thank you, my friend. Since we're supposed to be able to switch out drones in the Carrack, do you think we might be able to put building drones on it? I'm gonna say yes, but only if they have a building module. I don't think you're gonna be able to just be like have some building drones on the Carrack and then send it off and build, because obviously it needs to access the resources. This is how these specific building ships are set up to sort of funnel those resources and go and build. But I would say there's a definite potential that one of the modules on the Carrack will be a base building module, and then it will inevitably get those drones in that drone base. So I think there's a high potential of that happening. But yeah, until we know, we don't know. We don't know what modules it's going to get. But it would be a great little base builder. Well, a great big base builder, really. Straightening out the image. What image? Oh, that's sorry, I see, from APOC. So that's the image we've got with the potential baller. It's such a shame it looks like a prospector. If it is a salvaging ship, I wish it would have looked more unique, like its own design, you know? Do you think the volume of materials and the volume of actual buildings are connected? A stone in your hold is a stone building. Do you mean the actual type of resource rather than the volume? I don't think it's going to be a case of, you know, one SEU is one building or something along those lines. But the type of resource you have obviously determines what you can build. If you're building a stone structure, you will need quarried stone or whatever, or a metal structure, you'll need the metal that goes into it. But I don't know how it's going to calculate in terms of volume or weight or whatever. I don't know how that's going to play out, but they'll make it as accurate as possible to their economy, so it makes sense. Last Apollo, how you doing? Did they ditch the plans for building modules? No. They've essentially said it will get a building module with a single drone. Was it a large or a medium drone? Whenever the time is right to build that. But we're talking a long way off because the Perseus is first, then it's the Galaxy, and chances are it won't be starting with the base building module. It'll be the cargo or the medical or you know, or both. So it will be able to base build, but yeah, we don't know when. Hardgrim, welcome. 7. Rastislav, welcome. Hello. I installed the game today after about a year and wasn't able to get into the elevator in Area 18. Is there a way around it? Oh, man. I would say try killing yourself, respawning in the hospital if you haven't done this already, and try using the hospital elevators to get out of there and then get to your ship. But it is one of these pain-in-the-ass old systems, is the transit system that is being refactored for server meshing and should come post-server meshing. But by that time, you know, you'll be spawning somewhere else anyway. But yeah, try that. Anyone else have any other ways around the Area 18 elevator bug? Starfinder, welcome. I am very curious about Carrack modules. I decided to keep it as my Explorer, even though I have no idea what exploration gameplay will be like. Absolutely. Absolutely. You'll kick yourself if you sold it or CCU'd it and it came along and you were like, I wish I had that and I can't buy it back. But at the same time, you know, I actually... Either I have or I'm planning to. Oh, I did. I upgraded my Galaxy to a Reclaimer because the Reclaimer is usable now. I've always wanted one. And the Galaxy is clearly a long way off. So I thought, get something useful now. And long term, I can look into getting the Galaxy. If at that point, there isn't another ship to do that role that I want better, you know? Aiden, I think the devs need to address this. How much is 1 SU really? Does a gun take 1 SU or 2 or 3... do you mean like, as in like loading it in? They have somewhat in terms of volume, but I don't know how much. Like eventually they want to get to the point where you can physically put something in. Like a gun will fit, multiple guns will fit in a 1 SEU box. Moomasher, welcome. I will put down 100 bet that the first base built will look like a dick. Even Jared said TTP, time to penis, right? That's what he meant by that. Oh, really, Deacon? Okay. Interesting. Aiden on here too. You're asking on both fronts. How you doing, by the way? Yeah, so 1 SEU is that volume of box you see. That's how much it is. A gun, I don't know what you mean by a gun takes 1 SEU. A 1 SEU box is about this big. You can't see it's off the screen because it's quite big. A gun, you can load multiple guns into them. Is it 1.25 meter cubed? Thank you, APOC. Yeah, until they will address that, obviously, but we don't have crafting yet. They will be. This is the sort of stuff that will be determined as they continue on with resource gathering, crafting, and so forth. We have an idea of the volume, but I don't know if it's. I mean, as APOC says, it's pretty specific there. Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, you know what I mean, obviously. But of course, the world we live in. Yeah, it exactly says how much space it takes up. We know how much room a 1 SEU, like how much room a ship has in terms of SEU. There's a lot of information about it for people to learn, I am thinking that never being complete is a fundamental aspect of this game that contemporary mindsets cannot grasp. I think, complete is obviously a finite word, and the game will get to the point of 1.0 where it is a technically finished game in terms of the foundation. It's a game that is released. But of course they are going to... Even the old premise of Star Citizen, which was 100 systems at launch and all this sort of stuff, even that would never have technically completed because they will still be adding more content and gameplay. But yeah, I mean, modern games, they're never complete, considering DLC is a consistent thing. It's not like you have a disc and that's your game. The next one you got to wait for is number 2 with a new disc. So, yeah, Star Citizen will never be complete, but it'll get to the point where it is released and things work. I'm glad it'll never be finished. They will continue to build on it. Kelt, how you doing? I want to know more about base defenses with fences and walls. They showed buildings, but not real. So they did show essentially walls. You can wall yourself in, but they didn't show all the various types of how it's going to work. We know there will be planetary shielding. We know there will be base sort of signed distance field shielding, which hugs your base, and those are impenetrable by bombs, but players can go on the ground and sneak in and stealth in and whatnot and hack or take out those defenses to then be attacked. But obviously there are a lot of limitations to that. The player needs to be online unless it's in a system that is unlawful. There's a lot of facets to it that the player will need to consider when building a base. Like, where are you doing it? What is the base for? Do you want to be seen? Do you not want to be seen? Are you going to have enough defenses for it? There's a lot to it. Caleb, how you doing? You also installed the game recently and you're stuck in New Babbage. Tried respawning a hospital, but the elevators there are just voids. Oh, I'm hoping they can fix these issues. A lot of people suffer from these elevator issues. We're seeing it in 4.0 as well. As I say, this transit refactor cannot come soon enough. Does anybody have a workaround right now for live and the issues with elevators? Because it is the most annoying thing. It really is. Apologies to you guys who are suffering from that. Bram, how you doing? Yeah, you're not the only one, mate. Ramoyne, fantastic, thank you, mate. How are you? I hope for crafting, when you were upgrading tiers, there's a give and take in terms of the stats. That way there isn't... Yes, absolutely. I feel like there needs to be a lot of balance to that, where essentially you're not making the ultimate weapon that will, be 100% everything. You're having trade-offs based on what you're choosing to maximize. Like, more power will likely result in more recoil and so forth. But, yeah, I agree. Using a highlight, second time this stream, to say 1 SEU is 1.25 meters squared. That includes the box. The internal storage of 1 SEU is supposed to be 1 meter cubed. Thank you, APOC. G-Sharp, welcome. Question Winlord, how you doing? When does your brother think the game is good? I have no idea. I think he checks in now and again, not necessarily to play, just to see what's going on, because I'm sure he has an interest, but as a console gamer, it's a long way off before getting it to the point where he's ready to play. But I don't know. I've never asked him. He doesn't know exactly what the problems are or what's going on. We don't like sit down and have weekly talks about the progress of Star Citizen. But at some point, when the possibility of him having a PC is there, I'm sure he'll look to jump in. And at that point, hopefully we'll be a lot further on with stability. He would be fine. If I was to bring him in and play now, he would be absolutely fine because I'll be able to explain the stuff to him. But I feel like at this time he's just not got the interest to play, and I would say wait anyway. We do have a wheeled vehicle base builder. We do. We have that flatbed Argo vehicle. We don't have it in-game, if that's what you're saying, Sandman. We have the flatbed carrier, but there's also a base building version of that with drones to build small, maybe medium, was it? Phantom Killer, how you doing? Go to a different region server and get out from that base before switching back. Yeah, they'll have to figure out these loopholes, won't they? Blackfish, welcome. Biggest problem with elevators is CIG completely bypassed installing. Installing emergency stairwells. Yeah. Get some stairwells, even if there are a few floors. The problem is they're not always that, like, the elevators and their locations are not like stair worthy because they could be thousands of meters away. You know, like you get an elevator from a space station to a landing pad. It's not like it's just going down. Like it's more like the Wonkavator, where it goes, and you know, having a passageway to get to that would take you a long time because you're essentially walking miles. Yo, Skelevra, how you doing? Welcome. So server hop. Try server hopping, switching regions, seeing if that will get you into a server where the elevators are working. Get a Segway, yeah, or a new transit system. Yo, Sendan, welcome. The hover building thingy was up to a medium, was it? Thank you. The hover trolley is up to size small and medium, and then the CSV FM, the fabrication module of the Argo vehicle, was up to large, was it? Thank you. Architect, how you doing? They are the Wonkavators. We actually saw Wonka on Rachel's birthday. You relogged and spawned in at New Babbage, Joe. Eventually, you may find a server where you can get in, you know? Yeah, my brother and I actually started the channel way back in like 2013, 2014. And then, personal reasons, he with relationships and things, he stopped. So I just started doing Star Citizen stuff. You had an issue where no matter what station I spawned on, I could not call up my ship. Didn't matter if it was a different server, my character was just... Is that still happening? Because I know that happened with the whole 324 update. Is that when it started happening? Is that still happening now? A rickshaw. Ferrying people, yeah. Yeah, I would, Wonko. Just get those physical stairs in. It'll alleviate a lot of problems. So why is it that new ships come with equipment storage that are empty? Are we supposed to buy those ourselves or upgrade our ships? For instance, you open a panel map. It's because those assets aren't ready yet. So we have power plants, we have quantum drive, you know, the physical entity, the physical asset that goes into those locations. We don't have the physical radar, we don't have the physical gravity generator or life support. That's coming with 4.0, or not 4.0, coming with the engineering post 4.0. But yeah, that's the reason. They just haven't pushed those items out in a physical manner yet. Cyborg, welcome. I almost went off on a whole like song there to try and match this song, but I realized it was immediately out of tune, out of key. You want your microbrewery version of the Starfarer. Oh man, could you imagine? You go there with your own little like Space Kitty mug, and then they turn on the taps, and you just have like a beer knees up. That would be so cool. It was fixed for you following a character reset, but I bared with it for 3 days thinking it would fix itself. Well, there's an idea. I forgot about that. You can go to the website and go to character repairers or repair character on the settings, and that will essentially reset everything. You're not supposed to do it over and over again, but if you are having a bug like that, try then respawning in a different place. Choose a different location and respawn there, and then hopefully the elevators are working there. But it is a known issue, and it will eventually get fixed, but who knows when. Most likely, those issues, like what they're doing now is they're refactoring the whole transit system, which is the ATC, the trams, the elevators, anything that involves transit, to work with server meshing, because it's an old system. It's not set up for that kind of thing, and it's a painful system. So once they've refactored it, then they can, hopefully that will tackle the majority of the issues, but it might be a case of getting it on par in terms of how it works for server meshing, and then fixing those issues, or then making it, work properly. Probably CIG should have gone with the good old time. I know. It was so funny when they first brought out the whole, they were like, oh, we're physicalizing elevators and we're physicalizing trains. And I was like, this is so cool. This is amazing. Now I'm like, you know what? I couldn't care less if they're physical. Just get me to where I'm going. I'm sure they'll get there, but yeah, it's a pain. Have you seen and checked out the new mission payouts in 4.0? No, I haven't. I haven't, actually. Oh, maybe I did. The missions I've seen, majority of them are like 20 to 30, 40 grand, but it depends on what it is. I haven't looked at it thoroughly enough to really determine what the average pay is for a typical job. Satisfactory for CIG will settle it down to a cadence of maintenance and improvement. Yes. So initially, getting it set up, getting this whole, the whole transit system refactored, will then allow them to maintain and improve things easily, rather than right now it being a pain in the ass because it's such an old system. Small refuel ship makes sense. They should call it the Miss Camel. Miss Camel. No, I like that. Yo, Mackie, how you doing? Physical stairs would work wonders and don't glitch. Well, we say that. Anyone remember that physical foot plate? No, what was it called? Stair alignment tech on the roadmap years ago, where each foot will align to a proper step. It's pretty fun. I don't think we've seen that come along yet. Milan, how you doing? We do. In fact, they said that they may look into allowing us to bedlog in the hangar at some point. Hopefully soon, because that would be nice. Then we can just avoid all of that crap. I agree, I don't need them to physicalize anymore, but at the same time, I absolutely hate it when I get into an elevator on a station, click the button for Galleria or Habs, and then instantly appear. Yeah. It's so funny, isn't it? Because that instantaneous thing is like, oh, okay. And that's when I do a lot of my scratching when I'm in the elevator. I'm like, oh, scratch there, scratch down here, scratch this. Oh, we've arrived. If it's instantaneous, I'm like, oh, I'm still itchy. So, yeah, I agree. Yeah, Deteris. Big question, that. Within the next 12 months, I presume. Raptor Actual, 07. In Port Olisar, you used to trip over your feet and die. Yeah. You'd just be running up the stairs and just be like, pfft. We've had so many fun bugs. And we still have more, but they're less fun now. They're more detrimental. Anyway, let me crack on with this whole information overload crafting base building video that I don't know when it's going to be up, because the actual record is 12 pages of text. As you know, I like to talk about this stuff. I have a lot to say. And the video already unedited, the script unedited after recording it, is about 42 minutes long. So it's likely going to be about 35, 38 minutes. So I do apologize, but there's a lot to say. Do you know what? Maybe we should then. Maybe we should jump in. If you've got any questions about base building, hopefully I'll remember it. But yeah, let's jump in. We'll do a little bit of 4.0 and see what is going on with certain things. We can check certain things. Good idea. Blue Leafs, how you doing? Welcome. I think so. Sailing Flow, welcome. It feels like they're working up to push it out live as soon as possible. Whether it does or not, though, that is the question. What is my daily driver for Pyro, Brad? Do you know what I'm really liking the Intrepid? I don't intend to stand and fight because the majority of times you bump into someone who is out for combat. They're in a combat ship, so they have the better firepower than if you're in an industrial ship or an everyday ship. So for me, it's more about just turning and running, getting out as quick as possible. And with that, the Intrepid is super quick. Tony Macaroni, thank you so much for the 28-month resub. Beers and party, please. Base building. So far, we've only seen base building on land. Do you think base building will be possible on open water? Yes, I do, eventually. I think that's, they have said that when it comes to water, they want to offer a lot of gameplay there. Like what you would see not Satisfactory. What's that? What's that game? The well-known water game. Oh, alright, we're at Obituary. No, not that one. The one that's Subnautica. Yeah, that's it. Figment, you win. So, we'll have points of interest and things to see on land. We'll have points of interest and things to see underneath the water. Sorry, on the top of water, underneath the water. There will be submersibles at some point. They're not a priority by any means, but they want a lot of gameplay to be out on the sea, out in the ocean. Like that video I put out. In fact, whoever owned that 890 jump, they actually commented on the video saying it was theirs, and they just left it. But there will be things to find out in the oceans, creatures and all sorts of stuff. When are we going to see commercial ships and vehicles with their company branding? I don't know. That will be done, offered in way of rewards, won't it? You do a job for someone, for a company like Kovalex, and then you get enough reputation, they'll give you a shipskin, uniform, and you can then go out and use that when you're working for them. I don't know when they're going to start rolling that out, but those sorts of reputation rewards have been heavily spoken about, but yeah, no dates at this time, is there? Take on offline raiding of bases. Even if a base has active players online, like 12 hours a day, any restrictions other than planetary tech for war victors, that should apply. What do you mean? So as we understand it, if you are in legitimate, a space that is like high sec, you will be protected, and you need to be on that actual shard or server for players to actively attack you. People can still come and use your services and buy from you and whatnot, but you have to be actively there for them to raid you. Now, if you're in a place like Pyro, you don't. That's why you'll need to set up proper defenses. Those defenses can eventually, in some way, be bypassed, but I expect it'll take a lot of effort. But yeah, I like the idea that your base cannot be, if you're in safe space or safe location, like a high-sec security location, you can't be attacked. Only if you are there will you be able to be attacked. Which makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It's kind of a gameplay thing. It's handy. But if you're in Pyro, you can be attacked at any point. That's why you need defenses. That's why you'll have to decide whether you want to be stealthy, protected, and so on. Whether or not it's... obviously there's a lot to balance here. There's a lot of aspects to that. But I like the idea of where they're coming from and how they're approaching it. Reaper, 07, welcome. You can't wait for weather to be... Yeah, me too. Oh, weather is just one of those things that I am dying to see. Absolutely dying to see come in. Seeing the clouds moving on Bloom was a dream come true. With the Intrepid, are you going for a stealth build? No, not necessarily. I feel like with the engineering systems, we can actually stealth ourselves quite well. But we still need the new signature system, radars and scanners to be able to, I suppose, potentially hide properly. But I won't be going for a stealth build. I'll be going for a build that allows me to be quick, more than anything. Hello, Tom. How you doing? You were Evo, were you, D? Nice. That means we could play Evo together. Well, not necessarily just contested zones. Items of great rarity and value will certainly be found in contested zones, but there will be other ways of attaining them beyond just combat. Like there will be the equivalent via industry and whatnot. And loot will certainly be plausible. You are more than welcome, Robin. How you doing? New player, veterans, old players, you're all welcome. But yeah, the items on, things found on the water will be bobbing up and down, absolutely. Tontraga, how you doing? Is the new patch live for all players? No, it's Wave 2. And it's more individual as to whether it's playable in terms of bugs and connection stability and whatnot, depending on your level of patience. But right now, there is still a lot of issues that need to be fixed before it's ready for live. But it's getting close. Each patch we've had, it's been, well, not every patch, it's been kind of on, off. But now this last patch has been the closest it's felt to being a very plausible, ready to go. There's still a lot of issues with elevators, stability and other things, but the progress they're making from patch to patch certainly looks good. So hopefully with the next patch, likely tonight, we can see an even better version and then so on and so forth until it goes live or the next waves. Honcho, thank you so much for becoming a channel member, my friend. Beers and party, please. Duckforce, how you doing? Lakal, welcome. Darren, welcome. Let me just get some of these emotes. There you go. There for you. Sound like I'm talking to a child. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. There you go. So I guess it's not the time to jump. No. Well, I would say if you're not playing right now, wait until 4.0 does go live. Avoid the PTU if the bugs and stuff annoy you. Wait for the PTU to transition to live to 4.0. Don't even bother with the live build right now, the 3.2.4.3. Wait until 4.0 goes live. It'll either be this year, in the next couple of weeks, or next year, early January, mid to early January. Maybe mid to late. But yeah, if that's the case, just hang on for now. Architect, how you doing? I'm thinking so. I think it's Wave 2 now. I can't imagine it's going to remain in Wave 2 by the end of the week. I think it'll either be open or live by the end of this week, perhaps. Just so it gives them enough time to really see any other issues cropping up from a bigger player base. It may even be, open PTU by the end of the week, and then by the next week, this is a release candidate. It's too hard to say. It doesn't matter what any of us say. Any content creator says, it doesn't matter. Even me. It makes no difference because anything can happen. We just have to wait and see what happens as they go along. Oh, my Lord, Honcho. 5 channel members gifted out there. Thank you so much. Lucio, welcome. Still having issues, mate, with the missions. Beers and you know what to do. Thank you so much, Honcho. Let me get him in this chat first. Boop. And then in here. Well, that wasn't as many as I thought it was, but it'll do for now. If you miss the save Stanton missions, I think they said this was your last chance before they... Oops. Before they're going to be moving into Pyro. Papa John, thank you for the sub, my friend. The 22 months. How are you today? Pressing all the wrong buttons. Welcome, Crazy. How you doing today, mate? What are these smaller pictures? These that I'm looking at here, that's my inventory. If that's what you mean, I'm just grabbing any odd random crap to put on. I need a helmet. There we go. No idea, William. Yeah, no idea when the refinery ship is going to make its way in. Oh, hello. Did I not do that? I didn't. There we go. Let's see if the elevators are working. Oh, it sounds like it. Thank you so much, Honcho. Exotic Viper, how you doing? The ones in chat. Oh, they're my emotes. They're just little things for people to use willy-nilly. But can it run Star Citizen in photo mode? That is the question. Yeah, where I remember reading you telling me that you can hang them posters in your hangers, but I haven't found where. I haven't looked, in all fairness, but I haven't seen where. Hyper, how you doing? No, I haven't been to contested zones yet. They're not really my thing. I'll definitely check them out at some point, but for me, I'm just about exploring and seeing what Pyro looks like. What's there? We'll check some missions. In fact, let's have a look at the missions. Jedi, how you doing? 07. So, delivery missions. Rough and ready. Need a box hustled from one place to another. 26 grand. For the headhunters. For the Citizens for Prosperity. Rectify delivery error. 36 grand. Again, I don't know if these values are good or bad. You can look at it and be like, that's a lot of money. That's good. But it's not that simple. It all has to fit in with everything else. The price of missiles, the price of refueling, the price of repairing, the price of a gun, of ammunition, of what you get paid out. It all has to make sense in regards to the economy. And that progression, right? The times where we've had like 5 million super quick just waters down the progress and the feeling of acquiring things. Yo, Chris Pontin, how you doing? Yeah, the Arastra's going to be a pretty cool ship. Yeah, we use those emotes on Twitch as well. They're the same ones. Sanctred, welcome. Do you think 4.0 will be ready to go live yet this year? My biggest fear is they'll drop it too soon. So I don't think we're going to get a 318 scenario. But I also don't think it's going to be a super, super smooth scenario. I feel like they will drop it to live just for the sake of getting it out, getting those, revealing those issues, getting those numbers, and then having a bit of time to rectify what they can. But I still think there's probably going to be some issues. But it's not going to be as detrimental as it was with 318. That was a whole nother kettle of fish. We've had similar patches to that. And with this Cortec, it's best to just get it out, get it fixed, get it moved on. But yeah, I too hope that we don't have a hell of a bad patch for the holiday period, because I want to play it, but we'll see how it goes. Sometimes, though, certain issues don't reveal themselves until the patch goes live, and then they have to just run around, to try and fix what they can, because that's the only way of seeing it. Brad with the 5 gift subs. Holy moly, guys. Tony, how you doing today? Phantom Killer, thank you so much for the 78-month resub. Yeah, I prefer Twitch for that kind of thing. Strengths and weaknesses in both, Twitch and YouTube. Nice to be streaming on both, though, I will say. Space FedEx is maximum comfort, yeah. Lister of Smeg, how you doing? Did they just raise the cost payout of everything, effectively raising the baseline of the economy? No, it's far more complicated than that. They didn't just increase stuff. They've adjusted the prices of many things to try and make things fit in a more plausible way. But they're not done, whatever the values are. Like the missiles, I say in the video, I'm glad that it's been increased. Whether they're the right amount or too high or too low, I don't know. Until we get actually testing it properly, it's too hard to say. But we've just got to let them do this so that we can then provide the feedback, provide them with the data, and then get it sorted. People that just flip off the handle because something's been increased or a ship's been nerfed or whatever, it's not beneficial. There's more to it. It's not as black and white as let's just increase everything, I'm not talking about you here. I'm shaking my head like I'm giving some attitude, but it's not directed at you. Yeah, thank you, Phantom. Are you in? Let me throw you an invite. Are you send me a friend request? Or are you already in my game? You might have to friend request me, though. Bear with me. Let's just get out of this place, because it's dying on me already. No, you're not there. All right, hang on. Huh? How's that, my friends? Yeah, you'll have to... You sent a friend request. Did you? I don't see it. It's not showing. Send it again. On make sure you're on the sounds stupid, but make sure you're on the 4.0 PTU. When I was a boy, all we had was pad rammers. When I was young. Well, that's fair enough, Chris. You know, this excuse of it being alpha is wearing off. But at the end of the day, irrelevant of how you feel about it, the fact still remains. So you can feel annoyed, upset, angry, or frustrated at people constantly saying it's alpha. It is irrelevant. It's still the truth. And if it's not enjoyable now, wait until it is, you know? There's nothing anyone can do if it's not ready. And the matter of fact is, it's an alpha, irrespective of how people feel about that statement. Yo, Adam, how you doing? How are you finding the game so far, Ad? You enjoying it? Or are you not enjoying it? Selfishly, I wish you only streamed on Twitch because YouTube is taking too much of your attention away from us. In all seriousness, it is awesome that... Oh boy, I think we need to get out of here. Something's firing at someone. It is awesome that there is a whole other audience that gets to experience your awesomeness. Thank you, Ice Viper. I'll try and keep an eye out for your comments, mate. It's a whole new learning curve. Oh boy. Let's push it. Push, 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 push. This is me, how I'm going to be living in in Pyro. It's going to be run, get the hell out of there. Question, Rag, how you doing? You talk a lot about 4.0 builds being more responsive. Is it comparable to how the game feels in Arena Commander in the main build quicker? I think when I'm talking about 4.0 specifically, it means more on the previous build. So what we're looking at now is a 4.0 versus 3.2.4.3 is somewhat similar build, but you know, missing a lot of stuff. But I'm comparing it to the previous build. How stable is the PTU in comparison to what it was like versus what it's like now? Tell you what, let's go there and just sort of fly around a bit. Fact, no, let's try and do a mission. Hopefully it's not a mission that requires me to go to a space station, though. I've noticed most of these delivery missions require you to go to a space station. Is it Obituary that I need to go to? No. Okay. Well, that's good. Raid a Headhunter's Cave. So, let's head to some of these. Shepherd's Rest. Let me just read the mission. Hang on. I really need to pay more attention. Thank you, Brad. Is it a big upgrade to go from the T16000? Yes. That's what I did. In fact, my T16000s broke, and then I acquired the VKB Gladiators, and it was beautiful. Such a big difference. Our internal team, hang on, is this the right one? Our internal team, this is for the Citizens for Prosperity against the Headhunters, intercepted a comm between Headhunters talking about how they have stocked a cave near Shepherd's Rest on Pyro 3 with cargo stolen from us. Asked around about this cave, and it's been a known Headhunters cache for decades, always seems to be staffed by grunts. No, it's a risk. No, it's risky, but we really need to take our cargo back. Are you up for raiding that cave? Do whatever you need. Deacon, are you close by? Are you able to send that friend request? Because I don't have a weapon. But we'll try. Are you in game at all? You're not, are you? You've just given up on me. No, I've not fallen through the planet in a cave yet. Is that actually a common thing? Hopefully not. The entrance is not where the marker is. Okay. I don't know, James. I wouldn't say Vulcan is quite ready to take over, but it is dependent on each person's system. I haven't seen huge differences either way. That's fine, Jamie. If the term alpha is no longer an excuse for you, that's perfectly okay. You don't have to agree with that term. Like I say, I don't care. It's still applicable regardless. Stummerfu, how you doing? Thank you. Like I say, you know, you can feel about it how you want. It doesn't change the fact that it's in alpha and still needs a lot of work to be done. It's up to you to determine what you do next, though. You know, if you keep playing it, if you don't, if you take a break, that's your choice. It is of no concern to me whatsoever. We're coming in fast. There's a lot of ships here as well. Because this is... Hang on. Maybe that's the cave down there. We'll take a slow approach, because I don't want to run this risk. Frood, how you doing? Falling through the caves is what I've spent most of my time doing in... Okay, oh boy. In that case, we'll try and be careful. I've been to a couple of caves. So far, I haven't fallen through either of them, but... Or either, a few of them. I haven't fallen through any of them, but... It can still happen. Dro, how you doing? No, you can't update rented ships. Unfortunately. And Drake Star Dragon, welcome. Maybe I should ping to see where we're going here, because it's getting a bit... Come on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's just a hard fact night, Kai. You know, people can argue it all they want. I have no interest in arguing with you. You can feel about it however you want. Doesn't change anything. I'm not being facetious or sarcastic. I just don't care. I don't care. You can complain as much as you want. I don't have to listen to it. Okay, we've got a ship over there, which is a Saber, which doesn't bode well. Man, it's dark. I've chosen the wrong time to come here. There's another Saber. It might be the same person trying to do the same mission and respawning their ship. I don't really know. So the marker, like you say, doesn't necessarily point to the actual location of the cave. But it's somewhere around here, I'm guessing. Have they found it? No. Maybe we'll come back to this mission because it's a bit dark. Let's just move out of here and go somewhere where it's a bit lighter because I cannot see a thing. I'll just wait until the sun's come round there because, yeah, finding it at night... At daylight, it's perfectly fine, but at night, not so much. Let me see if there's any other mission I could do while we're waiting for that. They are on, Drake. The lights are on. Maybe not up here. I tell you what, let's go to a location. Ah, there you are, Deacon. Excellent, mate. Let's go to a location where we can potentially get a local delivery, a local mission, sorry, not delivery, but a localized mission. I've just got to find a location that is... In fact, let's just try Frigid Knot. That was in the daylight. It's a bit icy and cold around there, but we might see some local missions there. Yo, Jeremy T, how long for GTA 5, 6 or Red Dead? Do you mean in terms of development? Yeah. It's, you know, again, the whole... Oh, man, every stream we have a conversation, don't we, about the time it takes. Like, I'm not talking about you here, Jay. But, of course, a game of any AAA standard can take 10 to 12 years more. So a game of Star Citizen standard is probably going to take a little longer, as it is. Not to mention, they're starting from the ground with 12 people, building an engine, a studio, everything. That was a bit too early. I'll meet you all at Frigid Knot, guys. I can't say, James. Has anyone bought any VKBs in the UK? And how was the process? How did it go? Was it smooth? Did you get them quite quick? What was it like? Yo, meh. 07, Wave 2 indeed. Yo, Citizen John, how you doing? Kinky King. People forget that it was only in 2019 that they had a 200 million budget. It was only 2019 that they're at 200 million. It's definitely increased since then, hasn't it? Oh, King Chaos, welcome. Oh, 7. Oh, yes, the advanced HUD. Okay, hold on, let me just show you that. So, personally, I like, as I said in the video, you know, I really like having all that information, but it is quite obtrusive. It's quite in your face. Hang on. But the information you get is very handy, which I think for night traveling, for traveling in low visibility areas, is very useful to have. But it you know, it does obscure a lot of the view. And as you transition through different types of modes, it changes. Oh, that seems to be changing my HUD, my MFD. Now, have I got my landing gear down? There is an icon for this, which it doesn't look like they are down. Now they are, and I still can't see the icon. Oh, there it is. It's that one there, that little red arrow on a right angle. It's just gone. But no, I quite like having that kind of range of information. It's useful, but I feel like I would like to see it arranged in a different manner, that it's less in your face. But as I said in the video, I don't know if by doing that, it means it's less legible quickly. Cram, thank you for the follow, by the way. I missed that, mate. So yeah, I don't know what the best option is, but I do like it. APOC, can you hear me? APOC, do you read? Hello, hello? I guess not. Could you let me know? I'm going to just mess with my signatures. So what I like to do, or what I will be doing, is when I land, I'll be turning everything off, barring my shields. Radar off. Life support off. Coolers off even. But leaving my shields on. And you can see my EMs and my IR is decreasing. My cross-section is 2. You can't change that because it's the size of the ship. Eventually we may be able to mask ourselves with different things around us. But that's dropped to it's still dropping. That's still dropping. Is it dropping? No, that's going up. But it's stopped now. EM is still going down though. Just let me know at what range you see my ship, please. Oh, thank you, Deke. Appreciate that, mate. Call me crazy, but I set the new advanced HUD as my default for all ships. I like all the info being there for when I fly all different ships. It gives me some info in the same location. No, I'm not. There's nothing wrong at all, King. Absolutely. It is obviously personal preference, and I do like having that information available because it is quite important information at the end of the day. But whether it's laid out perfectly, I mean, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of things to come in for the HUD updates. So hopefully it can be a little bit more refined. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I just feel like it's probably a lot of information that a lot of people might not like too much. What do we think of the Legionnaire? I really like boarding Idris. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun when that comes along. And we have stuff to do there, you know, like hacking and whatnot. Hello? Is this you guys? Is that an Intrepid? Does it have a keybind? No, I don't think... it's a good question. Bear with me. Oh, for some reason there isn't a binding for it, but yet it still moves when I use my sticks. Not that I can see, but I'm not giving it like a thorough look. Hello, anybody? I love that sound. You're stuck in repositioning after I got impounded taken off from the hangar. Trying to fix it now. Oh, are you still at the hangar? Okay. Let me know if you need a pickup. Whereabouts are you, Deacon? There. As you're coming in, let me know what you're picking up in terms of range. Hello, is anybody inside this Intrepid? I'm coming in. More of a checking everyone's all right than a raiding thing, but you know. That was good. Hello, hello. No harm meant. Just checking to see if everyone's all right, and if you know it's fair to take, I might take the components and things out of it. No posters to take, unfortunately. Such a shame. No, base building's not coming with 4.0. Technically, it'll be rolling out within the next 12 to 18 months. But, you know, it'll be incrementally. He has nothing on board, but again, it's PTU, so they're not likely going to. Got all these components. Any of you bringing a tractor beam by any chance? I come in peace, honest. Even in Pyro. You gotta grief him for the next 10 years, Jason. It's not necessary, mate. It's all right. I probably deserve it for being too over friendly in these places. These are going to be quite a handy commodity in this place. I thought the door wasn't opening because I'd taken the relay. There might be some missions requiring me to use these, so let's just go and see if I can take anything from those other ships as well. I don't think so, Frood. I don't think the whole power triangle-y kind of thing is applicable anymore. We need I need to bind that myself in terms of like allocating power and resources around, but I don't know how much of that is currently in with this build, you know. Once base building comes out, I'm going to be so stoked. That's my main gameplay loop. There is so much potential to that. We will talk a bit more about it as throughout the stream, but yeah, there's a lot to be said about it. One. Oh, you got impounded as well, Deacon. Everyone's stealing my friends. All the stations are stealing them. Asmoria, welcome. Yeah, I know. A lot of people are shoot on sight in this place. It's fine. I'm prepared. I'm not prepared. I'm, you know, open to that possibility that I need to leg it. Yeah, as Fury says, 1.0 isn't necessarily just a patch. It's a target, and we will be playing everything that 1.0 has prior to 1.0 launching. I don't mind the HUD getting technically cluttered, provided I have the options to toggle on and off what I want, you know. What is that? Like a will-o'-the-wisp. I think that's a graphical glitch. Trespassing? How can I be trespassing? It's not opening. Got a cutter there. You can see these ships do age and degrade over time, based on the weather. Yo, Dark Rabbit, how you doing? Didn't they say base building was going to start rolling out 1.0? Not that I remember. maybe. But all I remember is on the presentation at CitizenCon, they said within the next 12 to 18 months, what we saw at CitizenCon, barring 1.0, is going to be rolling out within that time frame. I really wonder who base building will be for. I mean, I really want to get into it when it comes to, but I'm a casual player. I wonder if my base will still be there each time I log in. Yes, it will. Of course it will. It's for anybody. And the base that you build, anyone on board, can be big, small, you know, obviously the bigger it is, the longer it's going to take to build, the more resources you'll need and so forth. But you can just build a small little shack, you can build a trading post, you can build anything you want. Yo, VRK, how you doing? Nothing to loot in here. Eric, you got Star Citizen for free in 2014 with an AMD GPU. Nice. It's become the most expensive free game ever. Loved every minute of it. Yeah. It's like, oh, mint, I got this for free. Well, I'll just buy this ship. And I might just upgrade this ship. I just realized I'm 7,000 in now. Shocking. But that is over the course of like 12 years, so. And as I say, it's not all bought by me. People have bought things for me to give away, so, you know. The reality. It doesn't matter anyway. I'm not justifying anything. I don't have to. Oh, that's not a ship. Okay. A lot of salvage around here for people, though. But by then, the features and systems should be rock solid. Yes, absolutely. In a case of, you know, new features that come out will be buggy. But they should be a lot more solid than what we have now. Let me just go and loot this place. See if I... Okay, I forgot that Avenger was there. See if I can find some stuff to dress up in. Christmas wish list. IR on night vision enabled cockpit overlay. It will be nice when we get helmets and things like that to allow for night vision. Absolutely. You know, those sights, they're the starting point. Yeah, so essentially base building just allows you to build whatever you want. You can build the smallest of shacks in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a forest, no one can find you. Or you can build a sprawling trade post where anyone can come and sell wares or trade wares and refine goods and whatnot. But yeah, the size and scale will be determined, like the time it takes you to do it will, oh, a weapon, will definitely vary based on what you have available to you. Oh my lord, there are weapons everywhere. There's been a massacre around here and they ain't cleaned up yet. Okay, there's the player. He obviously didn't last. I wonder if it was a player that killed him or the NPCs. Probably a player. The flip! Who's the hell's going on? Quick, 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 quick. Hello? What's going on? Grab the gun for crying out loud. I got him. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, open the door. Oh no, these are NPCs firing, I think. I don't know if that was a player or an NPC, but they're not happy with me. Oh, get out of the way! Oh boy! The lack of frame rate isn't really helping, but I don't know if that was a player or an NPC or what, but whoever it is dead now. I don't know if they're coming after me. Jesus. Why did he start firing? I don't think it was a player, because they had that kind of cooldown mode. Although, it could have been... why is my ship so loud? It could have been a... desync. The player might have been firing at me and then, like, all that desync, he didn't know where I am. Best case scenario, just sprint and run and leg it and hope for the best. I'm not wanting to piss off the CFP, though. I want to be their friend, so why are they firing at me? And why is my quantum drive so loud? Oh, boy. Well, that's true. It says I'm trespassing. That's a good point. Yeah. You know, fair enough. I tried to kung fu. It didn't work. What's the button? 3. No, 4, 5. What's the button for the medic for my med pen? I think I have a med pen. Put your arms away, you buffoon. Oh no, I don't. Okay. All right, we'll just chill out for a second. Yeah, I think it's NPC. Yeah, base signatures being important, that. Dive, dodge, duck, dip, and dive. That's pretty much how it went. I am injured and I am suffering. But I'm not dead yet, so let's head somewhere else. In fact, you know what? Let's just get our quantum drive on if we can. We're gonna have to find a place to repair ourselves. Whew, that was a bit touch and go. Yo, Jeremiah P, how you doing? Is it number 4? I don't think I've got any thinking about it. What about 10 years after 1.0 comes out? How will they pay for servers? Well, at the end of the day, there's, you know, considering we are at, what, 750 million? Is it 4 million backers? And they haven't released anything yet? We have Squadron 42 to come out. We have 4.0 firstly to come out, and then Squadron 42, and then 1.0. I'm pretty sure they will be absolutely fine with their current way of making money is just by people buying the game. But on top of that, we will have, they will, you know, still sell ships, still sell gear on the web. It'll fund itself because the game will blow people away. Luke, thank you for the follow, and Sunk Shark, thank you for the 77-month resub. Ooh, beers and party. How are you doing today, my friend? Skipper, welcome. Let's check. I don't think I can see rep because I'm a bit. So, Citizens for Prosperity. It doesn't seem to show. I think it's maybe still bugged because it's not showing anything yet. Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Luke. Deacon, thank you for asking, by the way. Thank you so much, Deacon, for gifting Duck Force 1 a 3-month tier 1 sub. Another 3-month sub. That's crazy. You are crazy, Deacon. That's what you'll be called from now on, Crazy Deacon. Alright, let's just settle down and figure this out. Selling truckloads of cosmetics will make you tons of money. We'll do that then. I haven't noticed, Rag, I mean, there's probably quite a few bits of various NPC updates there. In fact, let's go to what's that called? Narina's Rest. That's the nice place. Hopefully it's in the daylight, but I think that's generally calm, unless someone's there shooting everybody. Orcified, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. Yes, I think you're right, Ramoyne. I completely forgot the fact that it was saying trespassing. I don't know why I'm in ill favor with the Citizens for Prosperity. 1-inch punch. How you doing? Yeah, I honestly don't think CIG have anything to worry about funding. Once things start releasing, like Squadron 4.0, 1.0, we are going to see a huge influx. I already see it from time to time when, you know, we're getting close to certain things, and then it obviously dies down again when deadlines aren't met. But yeah, there is going to be a huge influx when 4.0 releases. There'll be a huge influx. Who's that? Okay, it's just a ship. We need to get some meds. Yo, Foghorn, how is Florida for you today, my friend? Yeah, we're still early adopters. Absolutely, Chris. That's, you know, This game will sell itself. They don't even need to do any advertising, because once we get past these annoying parts of, you know, instability and whatnot, it'll improve. Who's that? Oh, they're all the NPC cutlasses that just seem to be broken. They won't do microtransactions. The thing is, they will sell things on the web, you know, like armored weapons, ships, of course. But they're not going to do, like, microtransactions. In fact, I hope they get rid of those chits. Let's see if we can find some meds here, because I am getting seriously injured. I can't even see a place to land. I mean, we're trespassing here as well. Ah, nuts! Oh, I don't really know what to do. Other than going to somewhere... We're probably going to have to go somewhere where there's... it's not the CFP. It might need to be a space station. Let's try a space station and go to the clinic. Yo, Luke, what's the question there? What ship's this? It's the Intrepid, mate. Starlight. Let's try that. I've never been. Before I lose complete vision and have no idea where I'm going. Okay, there it is. We just need to get out of atmosphere. There we go. How's the Highlands? I'm not in Scotland. I'm not in Scotland. Although I'm sure they're beautiful. Well, I suppose they are kind of microtransactions, yeah. But in the sense, like, with Star Citizen, it doesn't make you better. It doesn't, like, it's not like a Fortnite. I don't know what I'm talking about. Diz, how you doing? Don't mind if I pop in. Absolutely. Welcome, Jeff. Welcome. Maybe find a... The problem is, everyone's out there to shoot me. Freelancer? Oh, no, that's not a freelancer. Oh, where are we? Okay, there we are. Whew, that was a bit touch and go. I didn't actually sustain a tier injury, although it feels like there is some form of a head injury because of the display visuals. But yeah, I'm not to the point where I've actually injured anything by the looks of things. In fact, hang on a minute, let me just check my medical status. Yeah, that's helpful. I actually can't see what it says. I'm that delirious. I thought that was saying it's detox. Ah. Okay, it's over there. Are we on the right side? I don't think we are. Oh, that was a bit touch and go. This is the life of living in Pyro, you know? Who puts a turret right outside of a flipping... Oh, no, the hangar's not there. I think the hangar's bugged. I'm going to fly in and just see if it pops in, but I don't think it is. I'll have to find a landing pad. Oh no, we're good. Phew! Hopefully it didn't fall through the floor. Alright. I don't know how much and what it's for. I think it's just for both fuels, but let me just go and get repaired. myself, my body. Where am I at, Fogot? I'm in Pyro. This is Starlight Express. Is it Starlight Express? Starlight something. Now, is there a... Can I go this way? I assume I can because I'm injured. I should be able to get direct access to the med bay. Do you want a Jabba Hutt bounty? Because that's how you get what you want. Drank something I shouldn't have, Les. How you doing? No, I'm just been shot at. Siphon, welcome. Are they trying to shoot you at Pyro thing? Yes, they are. Oh, just for incapacitated. I mean, I'm injured. I should really be able to get some treatment. It wouldn't be the first time. EGH, welcome by the way, mate. Why did I leave the door open? Yeah, sometimes we do check the mobiGlas and crash into planets, don't we, APOC? So it can happen. No, it's not that the other two... It's not that the Zeus or the Constellation are too bulky. I like these small ships. I'm actually in the process of testing this for a plausible off-grid series in Pyro. In fact, while we're here, we might be able to do that a little bit more. I need to get a pulse, though. Yo, Smithsonian, how you doing? Yeah, you can rag, but you need to be essentially there for medical drop-off. So if you rescued someone, you could put them on a stretcher and push them into there, or drag them into there, and then you would... Oh, I'm lost. And then you would be able to press the button, and it'll take them directly to hospital so that they can get like a priority access. But I think it would be better if you have any form of ailment or injury, there we go, then you just get access to them, because you might be bleeding out, and you don't have time to fanny around like this. Yo, Static, how you doing? Small ships need more love. In what way do they need more love? Okay, patient check-in. Let's get a room. It is Crusader, yeah, Jason. So floor 10, room 4. Yes, if you're incapacitated, how do you access the button? There's more needed for that, absolutely. So 10-4, 10-4, 10-4. Oh, whereabouts in Germany are you, Durr? No, base building isn't 4.0. Sorry, we actually decided to play a bit rather than breaking down the whole base building thing at this time. But it's coming later. I realised the mistake there. I do apologise. So 1, 2, 3... Well, I'm going to say it's up here. There's probably a sign pointing to it, but I can't see. Here it is. There we go. Yeah, that was an intentional thing, Jason, about the manufacturer's aesthetics being clear, you know? You should do an off-grid series in Pyro looking for jacks. Well, I don't know if I'm ever going to... Why am I getting injured? I think there's probably going to be a mission finding him, if I'm honest. I don't know, though, but I feel like that might be part of what Save Stanton's all about. All right, there we go. 60 kilometers from Frankfurt. I've been to Frankfurt. Went there to go to CitizenCon, in fact. In must have been 2017. It was Brett. Yeah, my brother no longer is part of the channel. That's all. That was years ago, though. Tasso, how you doing? Grimhex feels luxurious compared to Pyro. You know, it does. It really does. You want pizza now? Why, what have they all been saying? DoorDash. I didn't have any injuries. In fact, yeah, good point. Let me have a look. Because I didn't actually have any injuries as such, it was only... shit. It was only a loss of blood more than anything. But if you look here, yeah, there's nothing wrong with me. Nothing wrong with me. I'm just complaining for the sake of it. All right, so for some reason, I'm ill-favored with the Citizens for Prosperity. Let's see what my rep is like with... Well, I don't have any rep. The only rep I did possibly have was them. But we can't do their mission, so maybe we'll just focus on Headhunters for now. Well, there's a local mission here, look. You can go and buy rights to a wrecked ship and salvage that. Delivery... Oh, I've still got that cave to do. Let's just... I don't think I'm going to be able to drop it off, though. Because if I drop it off, they will start shooting at me when I get to where I'm supposed to go. But if it's in the daylight, we can at least maybe go and start earning some better rep with them. So it's Shepherd's Rest, and it's still in the dark. It looks like the sun might be coming, so we can do something while we wait. There will be more missions if you go to different... Yes, maybe we should do that then. Maybe that's what I was trying to do by going to Frigid Knot before they started firing at me, was go somewhere where I can get a localized mission, but they don't like me. Maybe we'll try a Headhunters location. I use Hosas, Luke, but it's kind of, yeah, as Apox says, it's an omni throttle, so it's on a slant, so it's kind of like it's like a good in-between. I don't want to do an investigation stuff. Maybe I could do something like this in my Intrepid and see if that gives me a bit of rep. Maybe I can earn my favor back with this, where we have to go and help a pilot in distress. I'm assuming it's just going to be taking out pilots in the air, and I'm in an Intrepid, so it might not be the best, but we can try. Yeah, absolutely, Jason. It really is. Hope they go full sandbox on some features, kind of like the new Zelda game. Just give us a bunch of tools that we love and most anyway. Well, that's exactly what where Star Citizen thrives. One thing that I thoroughly love doing is... oh, I won't have anything here, will I? Is reacting to what the game provides based on what players have been doing. So... You know, CIG are building the tools and the gameplay and the mechanics to allow us to then go off and do what we want to do. It's... Obviously, there will be predetermined missions and things that you can do that can give you a sort of a starting point, earning reputation and money and whatnot. But ultimately, you don't have to pursue any of that. You can just go and do your own thing. React to what the world is doing, play with other people, or play on your own and just, you know, mess about doing whatever you want. It is a true sandbox in every aspect of the word. Gonna do work for slavers or organ leggers? No, hopefully not, but you know, I'm hopefully gonna just earn some good rep with, what do you call them? These guys. Oh, what? Where are we? Oh, it's in my hangar, isn't it? Oh no. I was just about to comment on how smooth the frame rate is here. Whew. The Michelin Man. Yeah, that suit does look kind of like... Oh, welcome, Apoc, to YouTube. You are Flip, that's not mine. Didn't mean to go to pad 3. Not sure what that's about. No, Risso, sorry. I really need to change the title. Hang on. Let me just try and get back inside. Are you able to change any titles, Sandman? Currently sauteing a new 4.0 build for EPTU later today. Thank you so much. Oh no, is that what's happening, Sabbath? So we've got a new build coming tonight. That is great news. Tell you what, this is the quickest way to do it. Let's just change the title. Talking base building and crafting. Playing 4.0 and chill. I think that's better because we are still talking base building things. YouTube title. Couldn't believe that power cut we had. Well, I can because we had that storm, but I was literally editing the thumbnail for that video yesterday. Got everything sorted, was about to post the video, and then just went, boo, everything just shut down. As you can imagine, which is what normally happens in a power cut. It's alright, I've changed the title. It's alright, thank you guys, sorry. Do they plan to add lore in game? Yes. So, firstly, we will be getting eventually the Galactopedia in game. Now the frame rate's just plummeted, which is like the Star Citizen's own web-based thing that you'll be able to view on your Mobi-Glass and maybe even have some things dictated to you, some lore information dictated to you. That's probably going to be the main aspect of all that. But we'll see the lore evolve into the verse more and more as well. Spearhead Micro, thank you for the follow. 07, welcome. Oh, it's alright, Sandman. It's alright, I've sorted it. Right, let's get some clothes and see if we can actually... I'm suffocating for some reason. Look at all this gear. There you go, that'll do. Put that on, whatever it is. Can I? Or is it bugged? Great, great, great. Yeah, can. Okay, that might be why it's on the floor. There we go. Undersuit. I think there was some armor here, some leg armor, but it doesn't look like that's interacting, so maybe we can't use it. Yeah, never mind. And there's the beacon helmet. Let's put that on. Yo, Mage, how you doing? Is the server down? It shouldn't be. No, you mean the 4.0 server? I'm still on it, so it seems to be doing fine. I don't think it's down. Put it on then. Am I wearing something? I'm not wearing anything. There we go. All right, I need a wee, actually. Let me go for a wee, and then we'll carry on. I'll leave you here so you can see what's going on. Yo, Cypher, how you doing? Does a video game environment matter? Do you toss trash on the ground, pick trash up, or ignore it? I pick it up. So, essentially, in a PTU, it doesn't really matter because it'll all get wiped by the next patch anyway, so people just, quickly want to get out and test things, so dumping things is normal. In a live build... Yes, they will have NPC janitors that will come along and clear things up rather than it just popping out of existence so that it keeps the immersion. But then I would like to see potential missions as well where players starting out as like a zero to hero can pick up stuff for a small fee, and you know, you could pick up these things and sell them. I've done that in a series before, but yes, it matters. It matters more technically in terms of clutter and entity count and performance. So they want a way to remove them without it causing a lot of issues, but they don't want it just popping in and out. You know, they want to have a way of doing it that seems real. Anyway, let me have a piddle, and then I'll be back. Oh, ow. Right. Beer o'clock. Where's my headphones? There they are. Yo, Hazelnut, how you doing? Well, that's the thing. 900 years in the future, every single thing will probably be automated. And it would be a boring-ass game. Whew. Ran up and down the stairs. Someone wanted a cuddle. Whew. Kevin, how you doing? I was thinking this earlier whilst waiting for a claim on my ship. Earn extra creds cleaning up the place. Yeah, absolutely. They've mentioned that in the past about, you know, needing a way to clean up the place. Early missions offering that option. Having a bin, ever, as you say, that will just remove the stuff from the server. Wait a minute. I'm back at the main space station, aren't I? Balthair over on Twitch. I use the bins all the time, even if they don't delete stuff. Yeah. Feels like the right thing to do, absolutely. Our org is led by a janitor, yeah. Oh, man. I don't know how that came about or why it's still there. Sure thing, APOC. CrimeSat 1 for littering. They certainly should do that, yeah. Certain places may. Microtech may have, you know, may give out crime stats if you are littering in that area. Tell you what ship have you got, guys? Let me jump into your ship. You guys can do the flying. I'm coming to your hangar, Deacon. You hear me, Deek? I don't think voice is working. That's another... Ah, hello there. Come into your hangar, my friend. Yeah, I don't think the service refactor as well as, or the social refactor, social system refactor is something they're working on. We do certainly need a way of clearing the windshields in some fashion. Where have you gone? What is going on? Are you taking the mic? Is this your hangar? Oh, there it is. Tiny Intrepid, is that? Amorenos, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Yes, so they have worked on janitor NPCs, mostly for Squadron, but they will be seen started in Pyro as well. Not in landing zones in the PU as well, because they will be going around clearing up all like old bottles and things that are ditched. Oh, it's the Terrapin. This is what you rescued me in the other day, which was a mighty fine rescue. Yeah, the Raptor. That's what we need. Elevators at New Babbage worked this morning on the USA server. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Summer. Yeah, you can be the space janitor. How you doing, Omarinos? All right, let me sit down, see if we can find a place to head to. I'll let you know. You just take off for now. Head down to the planet of Bloom. Yo, 40. Welcome. Right, so we have this mission. Let's see. I'm assuming it's daylight there now. No, that's pilot. Did I share the wrong one? Oh, I'm following the wrong one. Yo, Lone Wolf, how you doing? You spent the majority of your third shift night watching my YouTube videos. Glad I woke up to catch you live. It's amazing to see how far this game has come since your first video of it. You've been like literally all the videos. Man, that was a long time ago. That was the hangar module that I made the first video on. Oh, it's still in the dark. It's getting there though. Let's head to Shepherd's Rest, and we'll see about doing this mission. Is that one of you guys? That's Apoc. Look, he's flying around. I can see him flying around the planet. We're not even near there. We're over here, but he's flying down to the location. That's so cool. This is the markers that they showed. This is where we are. We're at Obituary. That's nice. That's a nice feature. Alright, I don't have any ammo or weapons or anything. I'm without at the moment. Dommy, how you doing? You tried to meet me at CitizenCon, unfortunately missed out. You will be... I should be, yeah, mate. Sorry for missing you at this one. I was trying to see everyone I could, and it was just... I had messages on Discord, Twitter, everywhere, and I couldn't keep up, I'm afraid. Plus, the signal in Manchester was terrible. But my apologies. I'm planning to go to the next one. It depends on where it is, situation I'm in at the time, finances and so forth, but I'm hoping to. Yeah, Roombas. Yeah, fair point. Robot vacuums. I like trying to throw bottles into bins. Yeah, that's quite fun. Training for grenades, yeah. You use the medevac bed at the IE to replenish everything so I could keep exploring. Yeah, they're handy vehicles for that kind of thing. No messing around there. Everything all right, Deke? Elevators, hangar's not opening, I'm guessing. Yo, Zents, how you doing? That's what you get for working on social... Yeah. It's a nightmare of social media. I've deleted Twitter. It was just too depressing. Had to be sick sitting there in the audience watching the squad. Oh, it was. And the thing about sitting there in the audience and watching that squadron thing is you felt the bass. Like when that, is it Cal? Where he flew towards, like he baited the Vandal towards that shield generator on that capital ship. And when he spun round and started firing those Gatling guns, you could hear every single, like, brrr, every bullet that was shot out of those Gatlings was just, like, felt in your core. It was so cool. Then when I got home and watched it on my iPad, it was like, well, that's not quite as cool. I mean, it's still cool. Need to set up a sitcom schedule. Have you planned places at specific... Have you planned places at specific... Yeah, like a walk around. I did get a chance to see Mac, but there's so many people I missed the opportunity to talk to you but that I wanted to also. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There was, you know, we did like a pub meetup afterwards, didn't we? Let me see if I can do any better. We did like a pub meetup, and it was, even then there was a lot of us. Broken it. Oh, wait for the program to respond. Thank you. It is Kevin. Yeah. Oh, that's what's happening. Server crash. There we go. I think. Yeah, no, a day would go by if you didn't see someone dying, dead, injured, boobs. No, that's a bad thing. But, you know, like, just... porn, essentially. You open up Twitter to see what's going on in Star Citizen, and you're presented with a multitude of crazy stuff. I just couldn't be bothered with it. Couldn't care less who owns it, whatever, all that. I couldn't care less about all that. It didn't bother me in the slightest, but it was just a cesspool of crap. Can you talk more about the server count and per area and player count? Can they afford to run that many servers over time if 4.0 goes live? What do you mean by can they afford to? So, right now, oh man, it looks like the doors are showing a bit of desync. Like he's technically out, but he's not out because the doors... The hell? I think there is... You know, with the doors there, Deke. So, there's 424 players on the Shard in its entirety, and 102 people in our server. But what do you mean by, like, can they afford to run that many? I'm sure they're fine, financially. Yeah, doors open, but not open. The repositioning, but what is that? I've never seen this. Yo, Night Kai. How you doing? Yeah, Blue Sky's much... Like, you want the information about Star Citizen, you find it. It was just depressing seeing everything. Yeah, exactly. Put you in a safe location. We got impounded. I mean, the doors looked open, so I don't know what more we could do in that situation. Everyone keeps running into you. It really spoiled the event for them. Oh, not in the slightest, Balth. It was a pleasure meeting you, sir. We totally... When I bought everyone a beer in a pub, and it came to... Like, there was like 15, 16 of us. Maybe more, and it only came to 30 quid. The barmaid clearly missed some drinks off, and it was like, yeah, I'll pay that. Yo, Jept, how you doing? I can say I crash a lot of the time, often from not paying attention and trying to be too crazy. Yeah, that's the same with me. And I'm trying to dial it back, my flight and stuff, so that I'm not pushing it too much, because I want it to be smooth and realistic. But then I crash and I regret it. Yeah, same. No, it doesn't look like it, Deke. Are you hopping off, mate? So 4 million players, how many servers would... Oh, I see. Well, I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get to that point in the PTU or live until it gets to a much further on state. What's the most concurrent players we've ever had? Isn't it like 20, 30,000? So I think while we are, post 4.0, definitely that will increase if all is stable and working better. But, yeah, I don't think it's going to be too bad in terms of that much player count. But at the same time, they will be fine financially for paying for this kind of thing. Are we going anywhere here? Oh, they got out all right. The hell was that? Yeah, we don't need to worry about CIG and funding. As much as this has probably been a little less of a funded year than the last, they're not short of a bob or two. You need to relog. Okay. Let's do that then. Yeah, same. 5 of those accounts mine. I can't play on all of them at the same time. Just got back from making some breakfast, and this does not look good. What did you have for breakfast? Tell me all. Sudsman, thank you, sir. Oh no, we've not made as much this year. All right, just release the build. The Starlancer build, not 4.0. Yeah, that's exactly. There's more funding than just what we see on the website. Yeah, I would have thought in Manchester it would have been about 7 to 8 quid for a drink. But saying that, the pub was really shoddy. It was a dive. It was horrible. It was like a classic pub where everything's sticky and it smells of like stale beer. You lived off grid for a week. Spoiled by picking up a box from the side mission of my cargo grid, it shot me through the floor of the hangar where I was trapped in the underground where the ships are. Oh no. I mean, most people have to pay for that experience. All right, do I oh, none of us are online right now. Okay, let's just get back to somewhere. There was a mention of a taxi service in the future. Guess it isn't 4.0. No. Would also be handy for backup solutions. Yeah, true. So, oatmeal and cream pies for breakfast. Wow, that's a nice breakfast. Yeah, so there is going to be, on all scales, passenger transport. Be that a single NPC, a single player, via a beacon and whatnot, up to the Genesis Starliner, which is your sort of Boeing version of a ship, where you will be transporting hundreds of people or tens of people. And we don't have that yet. I think 4.0 is essentially needed for NPCs to properly navigate through the transit system itself. They need, better server frame rates for the NPCs to perform consistently anyway, which would be a benefit. But then once they've done all that, we will be ferrying NPCs around. How many ships do you think are done and being held back for either squadron or another reason? Oh God, I have no idea. Aside from the ones that we know are in development versus the ones that we don't know, I have absolutely no idea. Where do we even think about that? A sticky floor is a sign of people having fun. Yeah, not my kind of fun, especially not in a dingy pub. What if you fall over? You're like, ah! Haven't eaten it yet, just made it, but it's eggs, bacon, and cheese bagel sandwich and an orange. Very nice. Wow, that's a proper breakfast. Yeah, don't concern yourself with CIG's money. They are more than fine. They have personal investors, not just to mention us, and 4.0, Squadron, 1.0. They have nothing to concern about, nothing to be concerned about. That's why they're expanding so massively, because they want to build more, push the game out more. Just about a week, is it, man? I mean, when I did the early off-grid videos, and I did that video of I am still living off-grid, I must have been there for 2 weeks already. and it was just going. And then you lot showed up and started making me spawn in the middle of nowhere because you kept taking my landing spots. Just saying. I'm only kidding. It's all fine. Is YouTube going a bit foobar? The paint degraded on my ship looked amazing though. It stopped looking like a plastic noodle and more like a ship from a movie. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing, is that if you just leave it alone and don't do anything with it, like don't repair it, it looks aged. What's happening? Even my camera's getting a bit delayed. I tell you what, I'm just gonna... Are we getting in now? All right, I think we're getting in. I don't know. Is it like... Yeah, it's lagging a bit, isn't it? Hang on. Let's just kill that. Something was going on there. It was trying to do something, trying to get me in somewhere, and I don't think it was working. Why is YouTube telling me to open a widget? YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth experience. I do apologize, everybody. Hopefully, as it smoothed out now. Let's try relaunching. Has it settled? No, it's lagging, Vicious. It's lagging, mate. Welcome, by the way. Yeah, there's just a few gremlins. Frozen picking my nose. Could be worse. I don't know how, but it could be. Oh, geezer, how you doing? Is it any better? Stream's good now. What about on YouTube? I'm back. Is it all right? I'm no longer picking my nose. For some reason, loading into the game was just draining something. Yeah, let's hope for another improvement in the patch. It's, you know, this patch that we're playing now, as much as there are still issues with it, it is a much better improvement on the previous one. And if they can continue on with this path, then, fingers crossed, it ain't going to be long until we can move to a new wave. Boop. Okay, you guys are in. Ooh, 436 out of 500. Let's see if I can join this now. Hopefully it was just a momentary issue for there. Showing me T-posing. Finally gave in and joined the Air Fryer Owns Club. Did manage to find a massive 14-quart volume one that does air frying, rotisserie, oven stuff, and dehydrating. Was only $50. I do not like one-use kitchen gadgets, but yeah, had been resisting the wave of air fryer ownership since the craze started 7 years ago. We've had a couple in that time. We had one that we very rarely cleaned and it just kind of disintegrated, and then one that we started taking more care of. But we only ever made chips out of it for some reason. Just never bothered with anything else. And then I think the handle snapped off that. I think the grease just gets too much. And now we just put the chips in the oven. Just potatoes, chop them up, put them in the oven, you know, put them in some oil, season, put them in the oven, and it's great. But, yeah, they could do all sorts, can air fryers. Crazy. Oh, thanks, Deacon. You're at docking port 2, Roger. You had a good but violent experience with distribution centers where it was run by outlaws on an investigation mission, but the caves weren't spawning. So what happened then? The Dreo Chef Maker. Oh, that sounds fancy. Not to mention the tech developed by CIG can be leased. It could be, if they so needed to or wanted to. Yeah, they could of course lease out certain tech and tools. Again, I don't even think they need to, though. I think they're absolutely fine with what they've got going. And mark my words, provided 4.0, you know, goes relatively smooth in comparison to what we've had, and we can get on track with a solid foundation for the foreseeable, which I know seems like a big ask, especially after what we've had previously. But post 4.0, we will see an increase in player count, provided it all launches well. Because a lot of people are waiting for 4.0. They're just waiting for that to come along, and then they're jumping back in. But if we can get that solid foundation, and then continue on from there, where every patch we get after that is solid, and we're just getting features with potential bugs and optimizations needed, not like foundational issues, then the funding will increase, the player count will increase, all the way up to continuous. In your opinion, what in the current 4.0 build, where is the best place to set a home to avoid issues? The best place that I'm intending to do it would be somewhere well out of the range of anything, any outpost or anything that you have a quantum marker to, or even a location to, because missions will give those locations, on Bloom, which is just a personal preference because I like the look of it. Your best bet, actually, if you're wanting to live sort of off-grid, out of the way of anything and avoid people, don't choose Bloom, don't choose Monarchs, don't choose Pyro 1. Choose somewhere where there's not a lot of people. Visually, it's not as cool or exciting because, places like Bloom are just beautiful. And I intend to live in Bloom. But keep out the way of anywhere where people can see you, and then only visit these places. But be cautious. That's what my advice would be. Saucy Pants, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. Well, I don't think we're loading in here either. We'll give it a few minutes and just see what's going on, but this server might have been completely balked. Soul Singer. I have no idea. If it's anything worth telling us, they'll tell us, but I have no concerns or care, especially when it comes to leaked information. Just ignore all that. Broke Citizen, how you doing? I'm good, thank you. How are you today? Did I miss Desert Ham? I didn't see that comment. Sorry, mate. Oh, there you are. No one is going to pay for tools that have resulted in no... Well, we're talking post, like... And in fact, people will, because they, people in that industry can see the potential and the use cases of these types of tools. To the everyday gamer, maybe not. But people know the benefits of what they're building. But we're talking, post-launch. If they so needed to, they could offer these for rent, for sale. Whether they do or not is obviously a different matter. Kid Pixel 07, welcome. Good vibes, welcome. It would be cool if they added small base outposts on the side of hills and mountains, not like on Castra or Microtech, but like in Star Wars. I wouldn't be surprised if they do add all sorts of stuff. I can't quite picture what you mean, but there's so much potential for visually interesting points of interest and locations and so forth. I'm just going to jump into my own server, I think, because I don't know what's happening here, but we're not getting in, are we? So I'll just try without joining your server and just sort of see what happens there. Shunter, thank you for the follow. How are you today? Tin Town, welcome. I honestly don't understand why anyone wants or cares about base building. I find it to be tedious. I mean, at the end of the day, there's, like I said in the video, you can do or not do what you want. The point of Star Citizen is they're building a lot of different game systems and mechanics for players to choose what they want to and not want to do. And it's important that some players don't do certain things, because that opens up the opportunity for hiring players who want to do it. So, like, for example, you might not want to base build at all because you find it tedious and boring and so forth. But many others do find it interesting. And you will be able to hire them to... I don't know how we're going to do this. It's going to keep throwing me into the same one, isn't it? Let me just disband the party. You can hire them to build a place for you, so you don't have to do it, and then live there. But that's what's wonderful about Star Citizen, is that there's a lot of things that you can do and that you don't have to do. And remember, they're not building a game for you, for specifically you. There are other people who are playing Star Citizen, and they're creating gameplay for everybody. Revi, good afternoon. How you doing? Danger Hobo. Darth, How are you all today? You guess that's fair. I just feel like the game keeps getting... It is getting deeper. I get your point. It feels like they're just adding more and more to it, but that's a good thing. Right now, they're working on a lot of things, right? Shunter, thank you so much for gifting a sub out there. Murray and Joy. Beers and Paddy, please. So they're building... They're working on foundational tech to make the game even plausible, right? They're still building that. In the meantime, they're building a dynamic mission system that will allocate multiple missions in many aspects for all areas of the game. They're building new gameplay mechanics. They're building new systems and locations. They're doing all sorts of stuff that will not just make it wider, but also deeper. And that's a big part of what they want to do, is make it... Like, they're building mechanics as well that don't just require players to do generic missions based, do that mission now, do this mission now, do this mission. They're creating a system where you don't have to do any missions. You can just literally live in the verse and react to everybody else and do what they're doing, right? React to what they're doing. Do you think we will hear more about cities next year? I would love to detective or solve murders. Yeah, I do. The building interior mandate that we've had in the works for a while, I think has been picked up again since DCs came out, distribution centers came out, and they will offer a lot of internal locations and mission locations inside planetary, what do you call them, cities. The word's right there. I don't know why I couldn't get to it, including investigation stuff. So yeah, absolutely, and I feel like that'll come next year with habitation, industrial, commercial, residential locations as well inside cities and sneaky areas and so forth. Shunter, gifting a sub first, then subbing himself. Thank you so much, my friend. In fact, I didn't even add the first one. Beers and Party, please. You have pushed us over the 30 sub mark for today. That is incredible. Thank you so much. Deeper and wider. They're doing all sorts. At the end of the day, it's not a case of let's finite focus on, or pinpoint focus on one thing. They have 1,100 employees, many of them devs, with different disciplines working on many aspects of the same game. And it's just a case of hooking those together. Part of the reason why server meshing is needed is so some of those systems can be hooked together. So there's multiple facets that will create not just deeper, but wider game mechanics and systems as well. But it's all coming together. Pebs, how you doing? In a better way. I don't mind that. That's good. Thank you, sir. Mark, welcome. Pebs, welcome, of course. Then make the scope deeper once a flexible foundation width is available. Yeah, exactly. They're doing it all. There's no problem with having both. Like you don't have to choose between deeper or wider. You can have both, and that's what CIG are trying to achieve. They're not trying to create a quadrillion amounts of planets and no gameplay. They're not trying to create just minute gameplay elements, but nothing else. But they're doing both. Corpse Doc, thank you for the follow. How are you doing today? Direwolf, welcome. You don't like doing the same bunker mission you've been doing for 6 years. Thankfully, we're not going to have to. Is your system lagging, Adam? It might be mine. Yeah, sure thing, mate. I'll catch you next time. Sorry if I've missed your comment about how you're getting on. Old Canadian gamer, how are you doing, sir? Got it fixed. Glad to be back supporting you. Keep up the great work and the great vids. Thank you, Canadian gamer. How are things? How are you? Me and everyone else, unless the pilot size becomes drastically less... Oh, sorry, the plot size becomes drastically less than 8,000. All us generically PvP avoidant folk will have to bunk up real close. What do you mean, Revy? The plot size, you can go from as little... I don't even know. It might even be smaller than 1 by 1. We know there will be 1 by 1. I don't know if we're getting in again. Let's just talk about base. Let's get to what we actually were planning to do to start the day off with. Talking about base building. So, you will rock up to a location with a surveyor tool and then decide what kind of plot you want. And that can be, from what we've heard, maybe 1x1 square. You can then go 1x2 or 4x4, you know, and then you can just increase. I suspect there might even be smaller plot sizes as well that you can buy. And regardless, and whether you're in, you know, you might want to be in high sec if you want just a storage place or a home place where you can just relax. Have you just followed me, Canadian Gamer? How dare you? If you want to be in safe space, go in high-sec security locations. Your base will be somewhat impenetrable. There will still be ways to attack and whatnot, but it's going to be very rare and very difficult than if you are in a place like Pyro. Do you think they will do a wipe when they release? Yes, they've confirmed as much. So they're going to do a wipe, and then it's a full wipe, and then they are going to try not to wipe as much as possible from then on. They still will before 1.0, you know, and then inevitably 1.0 going live will be another wipe. But yeah, they're going to try and not wipe at all. They've been saying that. I keep waiting. Absolutely, Diet. You know, if that's how you feel, you just got to keep going away, coming back until it's at the point where you're happy. Yeah, they had 4x4 kilometers and 8x8 kilometer land claims, but you know, as I suspected back then, it was it wasn't really plausible for taking that system any further. It needed to have a scalable range of plot sizes, not just, you know, this or that. It needs to start off small and then grow to whatever you want or whatever you can afford in game and the size that you want. Like, you might just want a really small plot where you can put a house in a forest where no one's going to see you. You're going to have, you know, camouflage, low emissions, and you're going to hide in there. Or you might want a sprawling trade post where you can have, you know, signs telling people to come in and trade with you. So far, so in terms of asteroid building and cave building, there is nothing on the roadmap, they say, at this time for, you know, early doors. But I wouldn't write that off. Cave building, I certainly think, would be plausible in the long term. But yeah, at this time, there's nothing happening for building on asteroids or in caves. Can you imagine a dynamic mission that starts in Pyro and you are to stop the gang from making it to Stanton, but you have teams in Stanton and in Pyro fighting? I think that's kind of where they're going to, you know, with a lot of this dynamic stuff. And with the Citizens for Prosperity, and even Save Stanton to some degree, there's going to be a lot of contention with the gangs. In fact, we were hearing last year sometime that the law team were marking up territories in Pyro for the various gangs, so that, you know, when they cross paths, they engage in warfare, maybe even combined arms warfare. And yeah, that's like the Citizens for Prosperity. They're a new addition to Pyro, in which they're civilians who want to sort of take Pyro back from the outlaws, and enough so that the UEE government will take an interest in the Pyro system and help. Whether that happens or not, I guess, will actually be up to us in game. Who you want to back? Do you want to help? And it's not even like, we're not just talking like, let's just do FPS to try and do this. We're talking logistics. We're talking support, aid. It doesn't even, you might not even have to step foot into Pyro to support that whole thing. But yeah, those sorts of dynamic missions will certainly be happening and you know, scaling. And missions as well. They're not just going to be a specific mission to go here and do this. It'll be go here, do this. Oh, now that's cropped up. Maybe you want to explore that or inspect this, and then that will lead to something else. They have this huge mission system that is evolving. And we've already seen some of it with hauling missions, but it'll apply to everything as well. Not sure what's happening. I was following on Twitch and I subbed on Twitch, but Watch you all the time on YouTube. It's okay, Canadian gamer. I'm only joking, mate. Sometimes you just forget to click the button. Not that you did, but sometimes. Right, let's get to this. We've only got an hour. We're not going to get through this. I like to waffle. And as I say, this video of mine is going to be a long one, which is breaking down. It's an information overload. There's a lot of stuff. AMD, thank you for the follow. So, I suppose the first question was, what can players build? What can players' bases be used for, and how will players' bases integrate with the other gameplay features such as mining and base building? Hang on. Now, players can... What they're doing with this whole base building system is players can essentially build a structure for whatever they want. Beer Can, how you doing? Yeah, this is old footage, mate. Sorry. So you could build a shack or a building, and you could use it for living in. You could build a refinery there. You could build a fabricator. You could have a med bed and so forth. There's various building types that you can build for all different types that you wanna, that you might want to do. Boys in the bloom are always hard come talking that shit and they pull your car. You what, Fruit? Why did I start reading that? When do you suppose they will get the SRV working again? Isn't the SRV working in 4.0? Do you mean in terms of being able to quantum and tow at the same time? I believe it's working in 4.0, but what would be nice is to get missions for that where you can actually tow people back. I'm hoping for that one of these days soon. Digital, welcome. It's all evolving and will be for a while. That's why it's exciting. Absolutely, yeah. I don't imagine that backing CFP in Stave Stanton will have much in the way of long-term effects. They can't succeed in law, else Pyro will have to have a more lawful presence. No, but this is the point. This is why they introduced the CFP. Like, they decide... Like, they're offering this contention where players can either help take back Pyro or help keep it in the hands of the Outlaws. Like, they're creating this long-term dynamic event that'll change based on players' activity. They can decide what happens by just writing it into the law, but they're giving us the option to pursue this long-term mission as such, where you can be in Pyro helping the CFP to take it back, or you can side with the pirates, and it's up to you to do what you want to do. It is a lawless frontier, and it absolutely will be. And if people want to keep it that way, then they need to help fight against the CFP, right? They're giving that opportunity. It's not going to be like, oh, the first week of 4.0 launching, we've won, Pyro's ours now, let's make it a lawful system. But there will be a lot of long-term stuff. And I don't think most of this will really unfold properly until 1.0 anyway, because there's probably more gameplay systems and long-term events to happen before they can really just be like, let's see what happens. But yeah, they're setting up this whole system to have this long-winded battle. You are more than welcome, bro. Thank you for watching it, my friend. Your boss is calling you. She is only 1 year old, but Boss Baby got nothing on her. Bless you, mate. Congrats. If I don't get a whole planet and a pony, then I'm out. Absolutely. Hey, man. How you doing? 07, thank you for joining us. White Snake, welcome. I like that the players are deciding the way... Yeah, and this is... They've said they want to do this... Not this specifically, but they said they want to do this kind of thing for a while now. Hi, Peter. Thank you for the follow. How players will impact what unfolds in the verse, making a name for themselves, creating, stories, and forever going into the Galactopedia for what they have done. Zero Dak. 07, how you doing? A shack. Have you seen the simplest building? No, we haven't seen the simplest building yet. We've only seen one example of what looks to be a small building. which will definitely fit between a few trees in certain areas of a forest, but that's not to say there aren't any other types of buildings coming. Thank you for the follow, by the way, White Lake. Did I call you White Snake, like the band? Thank you, White Lake. Oh, 7, Peter. Welcome to the shit show. Oh, man. My daughter is pure chaos. Absolute chaos, and she's only 2.5. So you've got a question, man. I just randomly dropped in, but I feel like it's worth asking someone that plays the game, should I spend 45? Obviously, it's a decision that only you can make based on how you feel about playing a work-in-progress game. The game is not finished. It is nowhere near finished. There is a lot of bugs, issues, problems, difficulties, stability, performance, everything. I would say yes, because to me, playing Star Citizen, even in this alpha state, is the best gaming experience I've ever had. Not all the time, though. It's not every time I jump in. Today, we tried jumping in. It was a bit of mess, so I jumped out again. Or bear in mind, I'm playing a test build, even though the live build is a test build. It's still... Free flies really help with this, where you can try the game for free, see if it's working on your PC, see if it's got enough for you to be entertained. It's a work-in-progress game. There is going to be bugs, there's going to be problems. If you don't mind, by all means, the PC does have to be somewhat powerful. They are finding ways to optimize where they can to reduce the what's needed, but it's still kind of a demanding game. It might be worth waiting until 4.0 releases to live, which the optimist in me is hoping for before the end of the year. Potentially, it could be next year as well. There's a high chance it'll be next year, early on, and see how that goes, because we're getting some foundational tech that is going to help with stability, performance, and so forth, and just making the game possible. But $45 gets you into the game. If it's not quite there yet with the live build, which is quite a problematic build at this time, then step back and wait until 4.0 comes along and try it again. There's people that have been back in this game from the beginning and they don't play. They're waiting for more, right? So it's up to you to decide whether or not it's got enough, whether or not it's a pain. For me, what I do is I play every build that comes out. If it's a good build and it's stable and I can play it on the long term, then I'll keep playing it. If it's a pain in the ass, I'll just stop playing it until it gets fixed. So, yeah, it's entirely up to you. But $45 is more than worth this. But it's whether or not you want to be playing during development and at what stage of development, Question, Beer Can. Anyone running live over the past few months that have 32 gig of RAM, have you noticed slow FPS? I did, just upgraded my 64 to 64 gig, and what a difference. Maybe the more recent patches have pushed this over. It certainly seems like it, like maybe there's memory leaks and things, but yeah, a lot of people have been saying that even, the increase in RAM can be very effective. Thoughts? Through your deep diving, have you noticed any information regarding work being done on bringing ship storage and component containers up to speed? So, they've not necessarily addressed anywhere that they're, working on. In fact, they have. On not a recent one, but an Inside Star Citizen a while back, they were talking about the ongoing process of getting all ships hooked up with internal storage, weapon lockers, physical components. Because of the amount of ships that are in-game and the age variation of those ships in terms of how long those ships have been in and whether they're, more recent or older vehicles, there's a lot of work that needs to go into all the ships to get them up to the current standard, which I know a lot of what they're trying to do is getting as many as possible for 4.0, but there will certainly still be outliers because there's just that many ships, and it's going to take a long while. This is why when it's like, what ship should I buy? And everyone's like, the Avenger Titan, it's just the best bang for buck. It is in terms of what it offers, but it's an old ship. There are ships now that have much more up-to-date internals that are more enjoyable and more functional, but of course it differs. So I don't know at what point they'll be at where every single ship is set up for those things. Unfortunately, sorry Zero, but I'm hoping 4.0 will see a chunk of them come along, but it will be an ongoing thing for a while. From a day one backer's perspective, 4.0 needs to be 100% on point. New backers will come, but only if 4.0. I think, to be fair though, I think new backers will join regardless because they don't know all that history. They don't know what 4.0 means. They don't know what 1.0 means or 2.3 means. I think for a lot of old backers, 4.0 is when they're going to come back because they're sick of playing, this working development game and it's getting frustrating for them. So they're like, I'll wait until we have more stability. And that's perfectly fine. There's no wrong way or right way to back Star Citizen. And everybody speaks from their own individual perspective. You speak for yourself, Tengu. I speak for myself. We can kind of assume what other people might be thinking based on what we've heard. But everyone speaks for themselves. Some people will come back, some people won't, and so on and so forth. It's, we don't speak for a collective. We speak for our individual choice. Anyway, who have we got there? Beer Can, thank you so much for the resub. Aman, thank you for the follow. Sybin, thank you for the 26-month resub. Let me just get rid of this stupid song. Deacon, thank you for gifting Zul a gift sub. Beers and Party, please. Golden Kappa Train just started. I don't even know what that is, but I've seen it before. We've had one before. Beers and Party, please, in chat. Look at that Golden Train. Hoopla, how you doing? You went from 16 gig DDR4 to 32 and your frames went up 12 to 20, from 12 to 20 to 40 to 60. I certainly need to start. Well, oh man, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to have to wait until I upgrade my PC because it would be a waste of money doing it now because I can't use those RAM sticks or anything else. Thank you, Sybin. Yeah, it's nice to be able to get them up on YouTube, absolutely. Berendini, thank you for the cheer there, my friend. Exclamation cheers. Thank you, sir. Welcome. X-Ray, welcome. No, the Titan, I'm sorry, I'm not taking away from the Titan. The Titan is a beautiful ship. I've owned it since 2015. And it has been my go-to for a long while. But now that it's getting old and we have some newer starter ships with all the modern gold standard passes, I prefer using those because it just suits what I try to do, At the end of the day, I don't care about the alpha or the beta or whatever comes between now and 1.0. Yes, I enjoy it. Yes, I'll play it. Yes, I enjoy making content on it. But ultimately, that's not why I'm bothered. I'm here for the finished version, right? Or the 1.0 version. As a day one back, I played 4.0 BTU and I felt like a brand new player. Yes, to me, it's re-sparked that nostalgic sense of when I first backed the game before we even had anything playable. It was like, oh my God, this is going to be so nice. This is why I know people will be blown away by it because there's more to it than just what you're seeing. I can't explain it. There's just more to it. Does the game work well with AMD graphics cards? I don't know. Anybody here using... yeah, define well. I don't use one, I'm afraid. Zedarian, welcome. Some days I get 60 to 70. Some days I get barely 45. I think it depends on on the server. That's it. You could jump in and have a great experience. Great frame rate, performance, very few bugs. And then the next day, or even the next hour, you can jump off and jump back on again, and it's just chaos. You hate the Titan. The Pisces forever. YouTube creators, they can make or break. What do you mean? Where did you come up with the name Super Mac Brother? Welcome, Robert, by the way. How you doing today, mate? My brother and I, gamers since we were kids, Super Mario Brothers, we played, it was, our surname is MacArthur, so we both decided to go for Super Mac Brothers, because we're brothers. It's as stupid as that. But it works. Not so much anymore, unfortunately, but that's just the way it goes. Solomon, thank you so much for the gift sub, my friend. Beers and party, please. Anyway, let's keep talking about base building, because there was a lot of cool information from that. Let me just skip through what we've got here. Now I'm distracted. We loved eating mac and cheese. Yo, Brotacon, welcome. Good test is playing Pirates one. What's that for? To see about your FPS? Well, to be fair, what do you call it? The PU versus Arena Commander is very different, very, very different. And you know, I can get hundreds of frames in Arena Commander. I can get hundreds of frames in the PU when I'm quantum traveling somewhere. Deacon, thank you so much for gifting the Froods a sub. Very kind. But yeah, it's not the best case. It's a good way of just sort of testing and getting used to your sticks, but even when you jump into the PU for the first time, you're in a landing zone. It's bad. It's very bad because everybody's there and it's chaos. When you get out of that location, it gets better. Same with 4.0. You jump in at a space station, it's bad because everyone's there. All these entities are being created on your client. You're having to track them. When you move away, it gets a lot better. Coffee, thank you so much for the gift sub as well. Hey man, enjoy. Keep those beers and parties going. Man, I cannot keep up at all. You get solid server FPS and it gets progressively more intense. Yeah, absolutely. You want a 4090 preparing to upgrade soon, genuinely digital? I mean, by all means DM me, mate. I don't... It will certainly help for now. Yeah, let me know what you want for it and we'll see. Thank you, sir. Star Citizen is doing depth and scale that has never been seen before. It is impressive even if you aren't into this type of game. Yes. Absolutely. And not every aspect of Star Citizen will be enjoyed by everybody, and that's intentional. Okay? Infinity Dark, how you doing? Do you have any take on the Redeemer getting effed over? Yeah, it's more agile now, but the way I see it, the 2 standard cargo unit space you lose 4... No, when it comes to, like... Ooh, let's open this chest. When it comes to... I mean, I've said this before. When it comes to all the various tunings and, you know, buffs and nerfs, to me, it's just the ongoing balance. They're not finished. If it isn't right, they will change it some way. Like, I'm assuming this whole change they've done to the Redeemer and to the Corsair and stuff, they're not finished. They're going to keep balancing and tuning to get it to where it fits. And then we will have the resource network, and they'll have to redo that again. Or not redo it, but they'll keep doing it from there. And then we'll get the Maelstrom damage system, and they'll have to do it, you know, even more so. Just let them go about doing what they're doing. Leave your feedback in a respectful way. Nobody needs to be shouted at. Not that you are. And then see where it goes from there and keep leaving that feedback. There is more to it than just ups and downs, right? There's so many other facets. And they need to keep testing these things to see what works. Not to say that what they've done is right or accurate. It probably isn't. But they're trying... They're moving the things around and just sort of making it feel more appropriate. There are massive memory leaks currently. Yes, absolutely. And that is a big issue with Star Citizen, and it has been for a long while. How on earth can that be considered stealthy, popping up and poking your face into the window to check inside? I know. Yeah. Oh, shit. That's not stealthy at all. Not at all. It's bedtime. She sounds like she's just delusional right now. It's so funny. Someone can go from being like alert to just completely delusional when she's tired. I haven't found any lobster, not any new ones, but I believe there is supposed to be some in 4.0. There are supposed to be also collectible items that you can find and loot that are unique to Pyro, but I have yet to find any. I assume they're keeping some of them under wraps. I don't know about the minables though. Pyro will have unique minables that can only be found and harvestables that can only be found in Pyro, but I have no idea where or what they are yet. But we have heard about the big update coming to mining and distribution of resources and how they're allocating more itemized resources to the rocks and how they'll be found in specific biomes and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff changing there. Yo, Ian, wish we could get the number of issue council reports confirmed badges over our heads. That will definitely distinguish the the ones who deserve Evocati versus the ones like myself who don't. It's like literally you get Evocati just because you create videos, whereas those hard-working Evos are like, wait a minute, you've done what now? Do you like the separation of mine? Yes, I do, but I don't think it's going to be as black and white as it sounded. I don't think, you know, only this type of resource is going to be found in a ship mining versus vehicle mining. I think certain, especially common resources like iron, for example, you might find in all three or crossovers. I would like to see crossovers. I don't think it's just going to be a hard, you either find it in hand, ground, or ship. But I like the idea of it. It kind of gives more purpose to using certain types. Issue council servers. 30k. Did you hear her coming upstairs? Chaos. You feel so scammed. It's like I paid for a product that got significant... The problem is, and I know it's like... It's happened to me with the... what do you call it? The Mustang Beta, where the interior changed and I don't like it, so I CCU'd it to something else. There will be other ships that can take their place. Like, I get the sentiment about it, but at the end of the day, everything, and I know this is a very grey area when it comes to buying and spending real money and how things can change. There are warnings, obviously, that pop up when you buy these things, but you never think of it in this sense. But I get the concern with it feeling like a real grey area, but everything is subject to change. And the alternative is they leave the Redeemer as it is, and it outperforms every single thing else out there, and there's no fun there. Right, you've got to come at it from a logical standpoint that if it's overpowered, it needs to be balanced. And they're not done yet. This is the other thing, right? It's not finished. There's still a lot more tuning to go with it. So it may feel like it's no longer as good as it used to be. But when it all has to fit in with everything else, inevitably these things need to be tuned. And that's what's happening. And it's going to happen more. On a bigger scale, especially when the Maelstrom system comes out. We're going to see so much more of that. And all this time people spend learning the meta about this DPS and this weapon, and it's going to mean nothing. It's going to mean absolutely nothing. Yo, Steve. How you doing, Calican? But no, it'll be interesting to see how they separate these minables with the various professional types, you know, hand, FPS, and ground vehicle, and whether there are crossovers. I certainly think there will be, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of change. Gantech, how you doing? We are just discussing base building stuff and all that we heard during the Star Citizen Live and CitizenCon, of course. But yeah, like the types of buildings that we know of already are things like homes, fabrication, crafting bases, refining bases, hunting lodges they spoke about, that's kind of cool, storage and logistical buildings, medical spaces, repair, rearming, refueling spots, security stations, maybe even bounty places, scrap yards, salvage yards. And these will all be potentially small, medium, and large. And they said they're going to start with this one high-tech aesthetic. And then from there they will bring in more styles. Again, this is kind of like the depth versus the wide. They've got this high-tech. Do they work more on further evolving this high-tech with more types of buildings? Or do they work on a new aesthetic style and bring that up to the same level of options as the high-tech one? Or both, hopefully, would be my answer. The concierge choice is by them all. Yeah, ranches, farm stock. You know, farms, both livestock and plants. There's going to be both. Are you sure, Tengu? Let me know this. I'll have to check to see if it's even capable of supporting. You know, what I've got is capable of supporting it, because my 3080 already sticks out. But send me the details, and absolutely, mate, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much. What do we know about when logged out, our base is being attacked? So what they've said is, in terms of, if you're in high-tech security locations, like Microtech or, you know, somewhere in the UAE, you can only be attacked if you are on the server. If you aren't in-game, you can't be attacked, and they need to be within the same shard that you are on, the same server that you're on. They can't attack you, even though your base will be displayed in another location, and even if it's like a trade post, they'll be able to trade in all these different regions, or shards, sorry, servers, not regions. Raiding a base in HiSec will not happen unless you are in-game. You don't have to be there physically, but in that game, in the shard. And in places that are HiSec, you will have planetary... As long as you're paying the taxes, or, you know, you've got the base defenses, you will be somewhat impenetrable. Like, what they mean by that is, if a bomb was dropped on your base and you had been paying your taxes and you have the air shields, it'll stop it. If you don't have the air shields and you have shielding around your base, it'll stop it. That's not to say they can't go in and take down your localized shields. They won't be able to necessarily take down the big air shields because it's on a heavily secure planet, but they'll be able to take down your localized shields and then attack. But yeah, beyond that, it's much more. Yeah, but I've only got like an 850, I think. Maybe 750 PSU. And I mean, a 4090 is probably going to be like... Like I say, we'll have a look into it, Tengu. It's very, very kind of you, my friend. Like, beyond kind. I think the issue people have is that games have trained them to find a meta. Yes, absolutely. And that's understandable. The thing is, I'm very understanding of where people come from. But I hope to just shed a bit more light. And I know people are bored of hearing the same reasons, the same excuses of alpha and so forth. I get it. I really do. But at the end of the day, you know, this is just how it is for now. Things will change. Like in stocks, don't invest in anything you cannot afford to lose. Well, that's true, you know, absolutely. But, you know, at the same time, I can understand why when you buy something like a ship and everything changes on it. Like, I mean, to be fair, though, the Redeemer, when that was first sold, it was built by the community. And that has changed a lot in terms of its role and everything. There was less complaints about the role change than there is about the stat change, which to me is kind of odd, but I understand it. But there's nothing we can do about it because that it has to balance. It has to make sense. Raise a good question. What happens to your base while you have logged off? So if you are in HiSec, it's essentially impenetrable. You can't be raided while you are not in-game. If you are in a place like Pyro, as long as you have your shields up, you'll be fine. I've left the panel off Deacon. The panel's off for my 3080 because the direct cables just poke out. It's quite nice. It kind of gives me like a warmth in the winter. Given we've got a skeleton plan for 1.0 now, where do people think 1.0 lies time-wise? No, so I think so what's going to happen is 4.0, 4.1, 2, 3, up to wherever, then 1.0. We're not going to see a 5.0 or a 6.0. It'll be in the 4.0 era up until 1.0, however long that takes. So 450, unless I won't be overclocking it. So 450... Okay, we might be all right then. Maybe I'm just over worrying. And thank you, Tengu. Honestly, that is just like above and beyond, mate. Ridiculously generous. Thank you, mate. Your PC is a space heater as well, Frazzle. In the summertime, it's like flipping heck. How are you doing, Steve? Are you well, mate? What was your message earlier? I actually missed that. Every time I get frustrated with Star Citizen, I feel I'm about to give up. I see a Star Citizen live or a recap by a stream, and I get my enthusiasm back, and I'm hooked. Do you know, I think myself personally, I've been at kind of the lowest excitement for Star Citizen I've ever been in a long time. But now that I've been playing 4.0, that has just gone woomph because of what it feels like. So I do hope it is a new era with stability. I really, really do. Colt, how you doing? I hear that my PC is mounted to the leg of my PC desk and the warmth in the winter that comes off my 4070 is nice. You finished your first semester at uni last week and not back until January 20th. That is exciting, Steve. What are you studying? Thank you for posting that again, mate. Delta Patcher, Best Patcher. My heating is currently powered by a small army of 3D printers. Oh, I bet that gets warm. Oh. You ordered a 1050 PSU, 700 watt feels so low, and I need 2 8 CPU contacts from the PSU to motherboard to be able to use the motherboard to its fullest. All of that stuff is like... fifth welcome was the competition they ran for the next the next nerfed starship. Yeah, what was it called? The next great starship or something? Cannon, how you doing? 07. A buddy of yours pipes his PC case hot air output into his heat pump hot water tank. You're joking. Can you actually do that? Yeah, I'm hoping for about 1 year. Absolutely. To me, I'm expecting 3 to 5 years for 1.0, but it could be a lot longer. It could be less, End of the day, by that point, before we even get to that point, we'll be playing a lot more, Infinity Dark, thank you for gifting a sub to Severance. Beers and party, please. Thank you so much. Let's get some 07s beers out there and parties. You pop on Star Citizen every time your room is cold. Yeah, I started off today and it was really cold, and then it's kind of warmed up now. So, John, you are new to Star Citizen and doing your research on whether I want to get involved whilst building IKEA Flatpak. So far, I will most likely get on board in the new year once I have my PC built. Yes, I mean, you will need the PC, of course, but I think you're in a better idea to wait till then anyway, because by that point, we will definitely have 4.0, which, we're going from the 3-point numbering system to a 4-point, so it's a huge step up, and that's probably the best time to wait. You could jump in now and play 3-point whatever, but now that I've had a taste of 4.0, I don't even want to. If you are new and you're in live and you're playing it, use it as a bit of a time to just practice and learn the ropes, how to handle your ship and so forth, because going into 4.0, it's quite similar, but there are slight adjustments, but nothing too major. And, use that as a time to practice. Make the mistakes. Even 4.0, you're going to be able to make mistakes and get away with it because the game isn't live. Permanence isn't there yet. As much as we've talked about persistence and permanence and iCache and all that kind of stuff, it'll still get wiped before we get to live, get to a finished product. You're getting to meet... I'm going to meet Het in the boozer. Have a good stream. Who the hell's Het? Sure thing, Tengu. Have a good one, my friend, and thank you. Just let me know what is required and so forth and what it is, and I will be in touch, mate. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Have they bitten off too much by choosing Terra? No, I don't think so. I think they've actually been working towards Terra for a while now, but I was surprised that they chose Terra, because Terra is a huge system and an important system, but I'm glad they've chosen it, and it'll be fascinating to watch that come to life. It's one of the places that I have, even like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I would imagine Terra as my home world, where I had a little home on the outskirts of the main city, just watching the ships and people and players coming and going, and I would drive into the city and I'll drive out of the city rather than fly because traffic's terrible. But so I'm happy for that. But Castra has my interest because of how beautiful it looks and the creatures that are bigger than space sandworms. Nyx has my interest because Vandal raiding parties. I probably won't step foot in Stanton for a while though. But logistically, interesting pattern of, connections. So definitely an intended purpose. Of course, John, by all means, mate, ask your questions regarding Star Citizen. If you've got any concerns, any thoughts, any questions about the game, the project, Whatever it is, let me know and we can help. But yeah, you don't have to buy. You can just sit and chill. But it sounds like you're getting a PC, you're getting a desk set up. It's a game that you buy that kind of stuff for. Whether it's a game you buy it for at this point or further down in development is yet to be seen. And that's your choice, you know, depending on just what you mind. Do you mind the bugs and so forth? Get a bit of volume there. Zer, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. You was also surprised by Terra, but I certainly hope that they can pull it off. It's my planned home system. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to have to pull it off, aren't they? Because 1.0 won't release until that kind of stuff is there. But we will be playing it pre 1.0, of course. Base building the space station was impressive. Yes, absolutely. That's like long-term goal. And you know, eventually, I'm sure we will get small space stations and being able to build them. Not for a while yet, you know, post 1.0, but we will get different types. Colt, you want to build a little house by a small lake on Terra. Gonna be awesome. Terra looks so freaking nice. It does. And, you know, we can all, like I say, I want to have a place in HiSec where it's a town, a township for my community, where we can have storage, habitation, social areas, medical areas, garages. People can offer their services in this place. You can build a house in this township. We'll have roads going through it as well. Maybe not to start with, but we'll leave space for roads when they come along. Although they'll probably wipe it and we'll have to build it all again. That's going to be the hardest thing. When they go this long without, you know, a long duration of time without wipes, and we have base building, and then it gets wiped. It'll be like, oh my god, that's literally my home. You've just taken my home away. Piss Poor Pete, how are you doing? Operation Pitchfork, yeah, in Nix. Can't believe it's going to be a possibility. Glitched in Orbit, thank you so much for the raid. 07, sir, how are you doing? How is your stream? Sin Omega, welcome. Belf, welcome. Exclamation DEF. Interitus, how you doing? Just missed that comment, hang on. Years and years ago, a very basic 3D model of Terra Capital was leaked. It was, wasn't it? Yeah, and that was really cool. Ironfoot, how you doing? What to live? I think it's plausible. I think my estimate, right, if I'm going to give any form of estimate, and again, bear in mind this is just an opinion, it is not likely going to be true or anything, but I think by the end of this week, we'll have an open PTU. They will see how that goes over the weekend. It'll be a release candidate, and then sometime in the next week, they will look to push it out to live. That's my estimate, based on what I've seen. It might not even come out live this year, but that's just where I'm sitting with it. With how development is sitting currently, wait for a free fly because we have years worth of jank, that's true, to get through with the new core tech coming online and being fixed and fleshed out. That's very true. That's good advice there, Steve. Is 4.0 the last patch before 1.0? No, we're still going to see like 4.1, 4.2. They only just put it up there just to kind of give us an idea of where they're going, kind of like a long-term aim. But we will see 4.1, 2, 3, and however many more until it gets to that, you know, 1.0 time. You like the clean high-tech stuff. It's funny, though, because I love this thing, It's the same with the ships, Chris, where you've got people who like certain manufacturers. Like, I love Drake, the rundown. I love the Pyro system with all of its rundownness versus the high-tech stuff. But the fact that you love the opposite is so cool because there's so many different things, right? So many different facets to suit everybody. It's nice. Thank you, Digital, mate. You are a legend. You haven't lost anything in Pyro. Don't intend to go. I don't even intend to go to Castra until after Hadrian is in the game. Pyro doesn't fit with my economics, Alzinor. By all means, mate, you know, at the end of the day, you do what you want to do, don't you? Welcome, by the way. Wish it was a desk. Oh, nursery furniture. Your son came early and we're not quite ready. Congratulations, John. Let's get some 07s out there and some party for John. Congratulations, my friend. Have a beer. There you go. That's exciting. Scary, though, I bet. What did Robert say? What did you say, mate? You're getting into trouble. Pro JB, thank you for the follow. I think that leak of terror was more of a fan-made thing, wasn't it? I can't remember. You've not been having from the frames you've been getting. Have you been playing 4.0 Orbit? No. Scott, welcome. Pyro was a big pain getting stuck. Yes, we did, actually. We got stuck in the hangar and the elevators and couldn't get anywhere. You're using this time till 4.0 live to work on my car, printer stuff, and my voice acting stuff. Speaking of which, you should totally help a brother out and boost it when I get my voice acting page up. Sure thing, Hybrid. Of course, my friend. But yeah, now's the time to be, doing other stuff while you wait for it to get to a point of I'm ready for this, right? Yeah, when your son's old enough, we'll be playing Star Citizen. Oh, those jokes never get old, do they? Started loving Drake only after I saw some of the larger interiors and fell in love with the Ironclad. Yeah, I mean, the Ironclad's cool, though. The Ironclad is a big... I don't think there's anyone, even people who hate Drake, love the Ironclad. That's the gateway ship. I mean, it's a bit of a big ship and a big expense to get someone into Drake, but yeah, it's the gate. It's probably the only Drake ship that non-Drake lovers will buy. Oh, okay, Robert. I don't even get to see what you've said for some reason. On Twitch, I can see what's been sort of, hidden. But on YouTube, I can't. I don't know how that works. You have two sons in their 20s. Let me know if anyone wants one. I'm trying to get rid of them. Hey, are they good turret gunners? We're hiring. Very scary, but all exciting. Yeah, I've got a 2.5-year-old, and it's really hard, really rewarding. And it never gets easier. It just gets different. And some stages you find easier, some stages you don't. Some stages your partner will find easier, some you will. Just support each other and keep sharing that love with one another, because it is a beautiful thing and a chaotic thing. My God, she's just a demon. I've always been too scared to death to have a child. Was raised really poorly, and I don't want to risk losing everything resulting in my... Don't worry. The thing is, not to talk too deep about it, but Rach had a difficult childhood, and she's so concerned about passing it on to her. And it's not about how you were raised. It's about the intention of what you're passing on. You're not your parent. You are aware of your... abilities, not abilities, but your love for your child. That stuff doesn't automatically get passed on just because you were raised badly. Build your CNC. 07. Welcome. Child raising is not done until they move out. Does it even stop once they've moved out? I can't imagine it does. Sarah H. Pray for Master Mode's death. It'll be so interesting to see how this change happens and what it brings in. But again, it's another system that there's elements that is good, elements that are bad. It still needs to evolve, and it will. And they're going to get there. Yours are 3 and 5, both girls, and I'm screwed when they become teens. Yeah. The emotional side, like, just being the only guy in the house with an extra female is like, oh my God. I can't. It's too much. It's crazy how much... people's lives have changed since Star Citizen was originally announced. I was 24, single and living in a flat share, and now I'm 36. Everything else is the same. No, mine is massively changed. It is insane. Charles, how you doing? Terrible 3s and 2s are okay. It's not the terrible 2s, it's the terrible 3s. Wise words, we've got ours to 12 so far, and that is definitely the best way to go. Support and love. Yeah, absolutely. Scott, absolutely. Yeah, break the chain. That's the thing. Break that chain. They're the best and the worst of times, yeah. They never stop being your child. No, absolutely. She's so beautiful. So funny as well. Such a great sense of humor. I wonder if we will have curated adventure stories like the one current... I think... So, yeah, when it comes to, like, actual narratively driven created missions... we will, but they're not going to be the sort of thing that you can just do over and over again, are they? There's going to be some limitations because of the repetition. Even using this dynamic mission system, it's still going to be some repetition. But I think these kinds of like curated adventure. As much as, you know, these long-winded... Well, actually, we are, because of the 1.0, how to become a citizen is going to be a main forerunner of that. But for me, those times when you jump in and play with... not even play with other people, but often play with other people. Like, I go in, I always used to just jump into the verse, take on a mission, just to kind of put pen to paper, which is always the hardest part. Like, what am I going to do? Just take on a mission, start going to do it, and then see what unfolds. And you may have gone in there thinking, I'm just going to do some delivery missions, and then you wind up on this crazy adventure, rescuing someone or fixing someone up, or, you know, it just flows. And I think that's where, especially with base building and all the different types of infrastructure we can create in space and planet side, the stories are going to be driven by ourselves. 4 boys aged 40 to 29. I bet they were a handful. Do you expect additional pad-based carriers similar to the Kraken? Yes, absolutely. I expect more ships and vehicles of every single kind from various different manufacturers. Not necessarily, you know, one from every single manufacturer for every type of thing. But yes, we will see, like what we have in terms of ships now, even, you know, once the backlog is sorted, there is going to be even more. Partly because they fund the game very well, but mostly because they are the main characters of the game. They're the main, you know, aside from ourselves. That is what's going to really continue to expand, is the amount of ships and vehicles to handle all sorts of stuff. So if you don't like the Kraken, you don't like the Liberator, there will be others. I don't know when, we might be waiting a few years for them, but yes, there will be. Sure thing, Orbit. Enjoy your taekwondo, my friend. 07, thank you for the raid, by the way. Lumin Ghost, welcome. You're disappointed by the Polaris. Their design choices don't make sense to me. Using so much space only to have torpedo loading space focused on tractor-beam gameplay, but the captain of the ship gets a shoilet. Torpedo combat station, primary weapon in the ship. Got no seat. Polaris owner since 2017, disappointed. Do you mean like the lack of space in the torpedo bay? It's not to say they won't add a seat. I think it's certainly something that might be a good option. But I think the idea being is that you're going to be moving, perhaps. I would say, until it starts getting in action and you see the pros and cons of it in... Not necessarily you, but CIG see the pros and cons of how it flows in action, we will see changes. I don't know, because I've never been in a Polaris and been the missile operator to, you know, to see how effective or ineffective it is in that scenario. But remember, they're not finished with it. There's more they can do, and if you feel that way, put out a report, you know, a Spectrum post, maybe not a Spectrum, blooming heck, but make your words heard in a polite way and see what they think. See if other people agree, you know. You had a rough childhood, and my son is 20, and I made sure not to make the same mistakes my parents did. That's not to say I didn't make any mistakes, because every parent does, but that is a hell of an experience. Yeah, you know, like, certain things that you say will trigger you, or like they'll trigger Rachel, because it's like, well, my parents used to say that to me. And it's not that that's wrong to say, it's just in the situation that it's used might feel differently. It's still applicable. There are still certain things that parents say regardless, because it's what parents say. But it's the intention behind a lot of that stuff, isn't it? It's a very complicated thing, it really is. Good thing you can escape once in a while in the verse. Yeah, absolutely. Victoria, how you doing? Single 12 years ago? Still single today. Ladies, please apply within. Sin Omega, how you doing? I wonder why I got an FAC pennant. I don't think an F8. Is it because you got the token? Where are we? Check the old concept photos. Some would look great as Aegis or Anvil. I'm sure we will see, especially from those manufacturers, because so with like carriers specifically, They're big ships, of course, so they'll take a lot of time to build. But depending on the manufacturer will determine what type of carrier it's going to be, right? Anvil Aegis, very militarized. They often have military contracts, so you're likely going to see a carrier from them if you are with a military background. Whereas Drake, Origin, Misk, more likely luxury or commercial use, personal use. So depending on the manufacturer, I'm sure we will see different ones. And, Aegis and Anvil, even RSI, we will see potential carriers from a few of those. But the thing with those big ships is they take literally years to make. I'm sure as the resources grow in studio with more ship development teams, members and whatnot, and the backlog being caught up on and so forth, the timescale will certainly reduce, but they'll still take a lot of time in comparison to the other ships. So we're not going to see like a sudden influx of a lot of carriers, but I'm sure in the long term we will see other potentials come along. Just want to say, your gameplay is what you like the most. Just chilling in the verse, exploring, selling odds and ends. I am waiting for the med game loop. I want to go out and save people. Thank you, CNC. Much appreciated, mate. Yeah, I've started doing these sort of 4.0 update videos. I usually just use generic background footage that is from CIG that are relevant, especially to the subject I'm talking about, which works fine for, monthly reports and things where you're talking about a lot of stuff that you can't necessarily jump in and just grab clips of. But for 4.0, because I'm talking about 4.0, sometimes something specific, sometimes just generic, being able to actually record 4K B-roll makes that job much more enjoyable because it's a creative outlet. If I'm just pinning already created B-roll from CIG's own vaults, it's not as much of a creative outlet. So I really enjoy that. But I'm looking forward to getting back to doing more gameplay, more off-grid stuff. Absolutely. But thank you for saying so. Do appreciate it. Carpathian, welcome. What's your opinion on my idea? Having customizable interiors, you can have bespoke interiors and furniture to swap out the stock furniture. That's part of the plan. They wanted to do that, but I don't think they had the ability to back then. But the idea being is that you will be able to change your interiors of ships, and using this AR maglock mode, you will be able to place certain things. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to as well. I think they said during one episode of something that we will be able to change our interior thing as well. That's part of the plan. Welcome, by the way. Kern, hello, how you doing? Do you see base Kraken specifically as a civilian or more? Civilian. The Kraken's a civilian more. I mean, it could be a PMC. It could be civilian. It's not as such a militarized thing because you've not got the military contracts with Drake. It's Drake, and but it's more of your sort of pirate side or civilian role type ship. But then on top of that, you've got the trading version, which is kind of cool. Yes, it's a full wipe. Only in-game, only purchase things, not anything. Anything with in-game currency is gone. Oh, Raytheon, good morning. Or afternoon, I don't know. I wonder how long till they use AI to help build ships. Well, yeah, I don't know if they ever will for AI, but planets they certainly intend to, so who knows, it may go that way. Oh, is it a bit loud? Thank you, Deke. Sorry, I turned it up because the previous one was super quiet. But yeah, medical... So, right now, beacons can be quite rare because they're just player-driven beacons for the medical stuff. With the dynamic mission system, when it starts evolving to the medical side of things, NPCs, there will be missions that dynamically spawn up based on the quantum simulation. So, there could be a pirate out here attacking an NPC, lightweight entities, not physically, but on the background economy and the quantum simulation. That's happening, and then there might be a beacon requiring you to go and rescue them. So there will be a lot of missions coming for all aspects, including medical. But it will be nice to see the medical profession evolve more, with more tools and devices than just being, a beam, for example. Oh, I want to do a bit of cargo running, which is a gameplay I've never done. It's a ship with around 70 worth. Yes, absolutely. With this, with the hauling profession, that is the only mission in game, or the only set of missions that are set up with a dynamic mission system. And it starts off with like 8 SEU, and then it goes up and up and up. And the minute you do one mission, you unlock maybe 10s, and then you do another one, you unlock 100s. It might be straight to 100s, but yeah, 70 is more than enough to get started. Just read the description in the mission brief to see how many, you know, how much the SEU is, because you don't want to, I mean, you could always do a bit and then come back and get the rest, but it's less efficient, isn't it? A bit more messing around. When will Star Citizen get its first Jedi? I mean, we have Jedi in chat on Twitch. We've already got one. Base building. I like that we are expected to move around our resource miners, but keep mining main bases long term. Yes. As I'll say in this video that I'm working on, one other thing that I've really thought about in the past is you could have scouts for the org going out, finding mining spots that are worth setting up. You know, like a lot of minables. Hopefully mining veins at some point, but tons of minables that will take days, if not weeks, to mine, if not more, even as a big group. And you will set up a small sort of mining town where you will have spaces for players to live and come and go, garages to maintain the vehicles, storage, obviously, maybe even refineries. And then once it's all mined, if it's worth breaking down, you could break it down for the resources, or you could just leave it and go. And over the course of years, literally years in game, we will see these dead settlements and towns just degrading, being taken over by the environment. And even like when they said about land plots, if you're not paying your taxes and you eventually lose control of that location and it gets resold, anything you've built will still be there. It'll be probably degraded because you haven't been there and maintained it. But imagine buying a plot of land where the owner never returned back to it or lost control of it because they didn't go back there, and there was like decrepit buildings on there and you could go and explore them and loot them. It'd be so cool. CIG has said before they are avoiding AI. Yes, absolutely. But they have said with planets and generating planets, using AI. It's a bit like procedural generation. They don't just go, let's just let procedural generation handle it all. They use elements. They do a bit of research into it, and they use elements of procedural to help speed up the process. They'll use elements of AI to help speed up the process, but they will always have that handcrafted feel, so that they can continue that on, right? You mean two beyond madlocking, for example, the ability to change the beds. Oh, yeah, I see. Well, the thing is, with the beds, not necessarily, because in most cases, the beds are also escape pods. So maybe we'll have different aesthetic designs that you can swap out, like this escape pod with this bedding, swap it out for this one instead, or maybe just the bedding itself. But yeah, a lot of cases that the beds are escape pods, so they're functionally built into the ship to serve a purpose. But then you look at something like the Star Lancer. I don't know if the Star Lancer's double beds are escape pods, so maybe you could find a way of changing them. But there will be limitations, of course. But they do want us to be able to decorate our interiors quite a lot and swap out certain furniture items. They've just put in what they thought would work, but they do want a lot more hands-on from us. You're dreaming of underground vertical farming to make cargo base farms. So I don't know about underground, but if you look at that original announcement of base building back at not this year's Citizen Come, but the one before, they had vertical upwards farming and buildings like that. But I don't know about underground. That would be kind of cool, though. If you stream more on YouTube, you'll definitely see a lot more of me in your chat. I only use Twitch to help Board Gamer with his chat. Well, I stream 3 days a week. You know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 while 6. At this time, there is no change to that because it's, you know, Rachel and I both work from home. Rachel barely has much time to work at all because we look after summer. But yeah, not to say in the future there might be other streams, but at this time it is 3 days a week. And of course, you are more than welcome to hang out with us, Yeti. It's a pleasure talking to you. Victor Hall, how you doing? I hope we have an auto pay option. Yes, I think we will. I think it's more a case of if you choose to not pay it or your funds dry up, then absolutely. You would easily pay 1,000 to kit out your fleet to customize your ship. Well, we will be able to. I don't know so much about how much we can customize it in game. There will be areas that you can decorate. Like when we have these problems with dead space in game, not the game Dead Space, but empty, like voids of areas inside ships where everyone was like, this is a waste of space, let's use that. We're going to want those spaces so that we can put furniture and things. But customizing with paints and logos and things, definitely. External designs and things. But yeah, internally, we will be able to put furniture in there, but I don't know to what scale, Yeah, so the props, we will have a lot of furniture, a lot of available, but I don't know about a lot of those props. Something they've been working on is taking all the props that there are in game and making as many of them physicalized so that there's not this confusion between what you can interact with and what you can't. But the whole process of decorating your interior, there'll be furniture sets, manufacturers, from catalogs and things you can choose from, and then, put them in your ship and display them how you want. Yeah, eventually I'm sure tech will evolve, APOC, and will, it'll be a lot better and clearer in most cases, but at this time it's still, Twitch seems to do better in that regard, YouTube less, Twitch chat good, Isn't the idea that they handcraft the pieces but let AI place around? I don't know. I really can't remember. Whatever it is that has most legwork, that doesn't have much of an impact on visuals, it'll be done by AI, but yeah, I don't know. That's true, they have separate escape pods, don't they? So maybe the beds could be somewhat more customizable than other ships that have them as escape pods. Chat's favourite streamer niece, Summer. Tessa, Super Mac niece. Sino Mega, how you do? I want to see big underground tunnels and complexes that you could fly through if you're really good at it, kind of like the Ace Combat series, but where ground vehicles would really yeah, me too. Absolutely, that would be so cool. In-game, they said they will allow us to do just like on Planetary... Yes, yeah. So this AR mode with maglocks, we're going to be able to decorate and then lock them down, clamp them down, and only those with permissions can actually move them. Thank you, Damage. You have a great week as well. In fact, on that note, it is now 6 o'clock. It is time for me to finish. So we've got a new 4.0 patch coming tonight. We are in Wave 2 at this time. I, personally, expect to see Open P2U by the end of the year, by the end of the week, with it being a potential live candidate. I do feel like they are, as I've said, pushing to go live as quick as possible so that they have a bit of time to fix whatever comes up from pushing it out to live. That, I think, is their intention. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. It could happen. They may, if things start going wrong, they may even intend to just keep it in Open P2U for the end of the year. But I feel like they are really pushing to get it live. This is kind of the last week, is it? Maybe this week and next, I think. Yeah, because generally they break on the 20th before going, for the holiday break. Not to say that there won't be some still behind helping, because that always does happen. But essentially the main workforce is gone, of course. So this week, next week to Friday is where we're going to see, hopefully, a live release. But in my opinion, even if it's not live this year and it's next year, it's not going to be long and it's worth waiting for. But I truly hope it's live this year, because I think not just in terms of morale, but just setting us up for a great year next year of building on this new foundation and expanding even quicker would be really rewarding for everybody. So yeah, new build tonight. We'll see how that goes. We'll see what happens there. Thank you all so much for joining me, for your support, for hanging out, for chatting. It is always exciting. We didn't get through any of that base building stuff, really, but we had a good conversation about various elements of it. Yeah, no more Star Citizens left. Thank you, Wonko. That is done now for... Sorry, Star Citizen Lives left for this year. There will be one more inside Star Citizen, which is the usual patch report. And again, it's not necessarily indicative of the patch releasing. They would do it anyway because the patch is on the cusp of releasing, regardless of whether it comes this year or not. They do this all the time. It doesn't matter when it releases. But we'll see how they get on. Yes, they did, Ed. They said about not being able to build in asteroids at this time. They said it's not on the roadmap at this time, but that's not to say it won't ever happen, you know. Trog, how you doing? You want ships and vehicles to stop bouncing? Absolutely. That's more of a physics thing. That would be very nice. Shunter, thank you so much. Huffreys, how you doing? Zol, how you doing? Nasty B, what time do you call this? Flipping heck. Dendra07, I don't think I've said hello to you either. I'll be back on Wednesday. It's only Monday. I'll be back on Wednesday, 2 while 6 p.m. GMT. We will probably be playing more of the 4.0 build and seeing what that's all about. Hopefully it's onwards and upwards with more stability, performance improvements and so forth. Just bug fixing. Keep it going, you know. Let's pass the stream on to somebody else. Thank you, Ramoyne. Appreciate that, mate. Yeah, you too, John. Let me know how you get on. Obviously, you're going to wait for now until you jump in, but it's definitely a game worth keeping your eye on. Regardless of whether you're playing it now or playing it later, it's worth following along and watching, right? Because it is a game you will want to play, but we don't know whether it's a game you want to play now or when it's more stable or there's more to it, right? Okay, who do we have? So we got Moist Noodles, Space Tomato. What are we on? It's only Monday, isn't it? Maybe Moist. It's been a while since I've raided Moist. Sorry, Nasty. Daytime streamers. I'm a working parent. You know, I've got stuff to get on with. Gotta go and cook. Go feed. Actually, I don't. I'm just cooking for myself tonight. Ooh, what am I gonna have? Deadly Slob. Is he playing Star Citizen? I don't see him. But we have got Moist Noodle. Yeah, let's go Moist's way. I briefly bumped into him at CitizenCon. I don't think he's there right now. His current poll is on Marmite. Yes, Marmite. Jesus. Absolutely. We'll raid him. He'll be back soon. Raid Most Noodle. How do you spell his name? Just Moist _ Okay, there we go. Moist _ Noodle. Tell him I said hello. And yeah, I'll see you all in a couple of days. Oh, fingers crossed we have a good patch. It's terrible when a new patch comes out and it's broken everything again. It's like, oh. Thank you, guys. 07 to everybody. Here's some 07s. Here's some 07s for YouTube. There we go. This is my end screen, courtesy of Pissball Pete. Thank you, my friend. Have a great evening, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Be on time, Nasty. Be on time. Come on. Part-time viewers. Silas, how you doing? Bye-bye.